and shit. Like the music's badass. It's hype. Like he's fucking slaughtering an entire Anbu platoon. Like this, the way he utilizes Kamui is just insane. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just the whole fucking thing was just crazy. And then he's also using like wood style on top of it. And then when you further seek Obito even throughout, it just gets better and better. He could appear out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like he can start just going under the fucking ground and shit. Like just everything Obito does with
Definitely.
his MS and Kamui is just insane. And then when he like sucks you in and shit, like the vacuum shit,
Yeah.
like it's all just insane. Like I'm sorry, but she's not
No,
peaking
no, no,
over
no.
Obito, bro.
Definitely
And
not
mind you, that's
emotional
like
impact.
that's nerfed Obito too. Like imagine if he had both, like
Yeah.
DMS Obito, where the motherfucker would be sniping you and phasing through attacks at the same time. Like nah, like he
Nah,
has
yeah.
it hands down in the MS like awakening ability ballpark shit.
No,
Like
facts.
I want to hear it, bro.
Yeah. I just realized I did the dumbest shit over. We weren't even fucking streaming until now. Sorry, folks. We were
Oh,
fucking talking for like 15 minutes. My dumbass didn't
damn.
even hit. I thought I hit live, but I did not. Hope you guys are doing well. I'll say the same thing. We're back. We got me and Batman here today. We were
I
just
was recording
discussing.
at least.
Yeah, at least you're recording that. That was fucking stupid on my part. I swear I hit go live, but I guess not. But I hope you guys are doing well. We
Okay,
got me and
okay.
Batman here. It's been quite some time. IRL has been
Yo,
busy as of late for all three of us. Hopefully, Shinobi can make the next one perhaps. Consistency will return. We're just gotta find balance. That will return in time
oh
for
yeah,
all three of us. Train never stops rolling. But I hope you guys are doing well. We were discussing right now the MS of Sarada. We'll go ahead and probably touch up on that again because literally I fucking wasn't even streaming. But yeah, folks, if you guys have any questions, you guys know the deal. If you guys have been around this part of the tube,
sure.
any questions, any and all. Obviously, anime is primarily what we discuss, but we like discussing it all. To be quite honest, quite the time for media. Like I've said, this whole year it's been peak media, from anime to movies to TV shows, Daredevil, Invincible, Soul Leveling. Um, you name it. It's been a great year for media as of late, and we still got some great things to come. Hopefully, great things to come. Superman, Fantastic Four, Karate Kid Legends. Even next year, Avengers Doomsday. There's a lot of good stuff coming. But this year has been the best in quite some time. Very long time, actually, if I had to say so myself. So let's wait and see if that continues. So far, the best year in a long time for media, I have to say. Definitely good stuff. Definitely good stuff here.
Yeah, really, really good shit. What's
Yeah.
it called? And we talked about soul leveling too.
Yeah, so for you guys that watched the last stream, I finished it. I exposed myself on most of the big bits of the plot, via TikTok or whatever, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. It's very straightforward, but that's enough as far as like the nuanced details and like buried and hidden.
Animation goes crazy.
Oh,
Goes
it's
crazy.
fire! It's peak animation.
Yeah.
Sometimes simplicity is best, and for this one, as far as ideology and themes and the lack of hidden meanings, that's not even needed. This one's straight to the point, yet it has its own unique flavor as far as how it's done. I'd say overall, it's peak. I haven't binged an anime like that since probably JJK, or Naruto. It was that good. Jinwoo is the new Aura farmer. It used to be Gojo prior to his humiliating defeat by Sukuna. And we're just getting worse and worse news on that. Gege, by the way, I think Six posted this. Gege said that the reason Gojo lost is because he was off guard. Who's off guard when they're in a bloodlusted altercation? It makes no sense. It makes Gojo look even worse. So he's no longer the aura farmer of this generation. It's Jinwoo as of now. He is the aura farmer.
Wow.
It's crazy. And Gojo just fell off hard, man. Huge fall off. He was that guy. He was Jinwoo before Jinwoo at one point, but it's dead. So Jinwoo has not been defeated, and from my understanding, he won't be, at least in the grand scheme of things.
Oh yeah, he's the MC. Yeah. So
Yeah,
fuck it.
he's the MC first of all. Second of all, he levels up constantly. He wasn't born a prodigal figure.
Yeah.
He was
He's
born a
just
fucking.
stronger and stronger.
Yeah, he was born a loser actually. He was born a fucking E rank, weakest hunter in the world, and now look at him. He's him. So, thoughts on the tariffs? So as far
There
as the
we go. There
tariffs,
we go.
yeah, I think if I had to deduce why Trump is implementing these tariffs, it's to establish the United States as a superpower. Now, is it the best course of action? it's worked for the weaker countries as far as, governmental power and military power, but for the superpower, specifically China, we're now in a tariff war. We're trying to one up each other. China's trying to, increase the tariff percentage. We're trying to do the same. Perhaps Trump didn't didn't anticipate that. Maybe he did. Overall, it's a mess because China's a mass importer.
Yeah.
The imports we receive is gargantuan when it comes to China. Maybe Trump just wants to establish dominance over China. China is very stubborn, the CCP. Overall, I'm in the middle about them. It's worked for in some
Yeah,
countries, and it hasn't for others. Again, I'm
that's right.
not.
Yeah, no, same, man. Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm not even super involved and knowledgeable on them. Obviously, they increase tax value on imports, exports, whatever, etc. That's all I know of
yeah,
them. I don't know the specificities of it, but I think it's had its pros and cons. I really have.
facts.
But if you haven't already, folks, make sure to hit the like button. It's really appreciated. Um, Speaking of anime, though, I guess we can get in. Feel free to ask about this, folks. We were talking about Sarada's MS prior to my stupid ass starting the stream. Um, Essentially, Sarada now seems like an upper echelon character in Boruto, at least from what she accomplished with the awakened MS ability being a black hole, which can be controlled at her will, be created at her will, etc. The latest episode of Daredevil was fire. Daredevil has been peak since the beginning. Daredevil on Disney Plus, Born Again, has been fire.
Yeah,
I like the small details, and especially the conflict within Matt Murdock, Daredevil. That's what I've enjoyed the most. I've enjoyed the fights as well. Great fights, great moments, thematically or aesthetically rather. But his own conflict within himself has made him so much more in depth of a character. Charlie Cox has played him brilliantly. The best scene by far so far has been him in Punisher. I think we discussed this in that one stream
yeah,
where that was one of the best scenes I've seen in a long time period in media. Very well done. Kind of, Frank Castle, so to speak, peeling the layers back and really exposing the raw emotion that Matt was really feeling, but hiding from the public. Frank was able to expose that and made it come out. I mean, fucking Matt fucking punched him and shit, and he was feeling it. That's the conflict within him. He's trying to decide what kind of justice he wants to deliver, whether that's with a mask or without it as a lawyer. And Frank saw that 100 miles away. He saw it right away. So that was a brilliant
facts.
scene. It was Daredevil was peak, man. Invincible was peak. Yeah, definitely peak. But
A
yeah,
lot
feel
of
free to
good
ask.
shit in 2025, man. A lot of
Oh
good
yeah,
shit. Fucking
fire.
like Daredevil, like it was a really good show. Like it was. I'll say this: that season was a lot of built up processes.
Yeah,
That's all they were really doing for the most part, is building everything up. And it was still good. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't a lot of action, right? It wasn't that much action. Like because the like Daredevil, like the OG Daredevil with those seasons,
yeah,
like it was a mix of both. It was like 50-50 drama and action. And it was a lot. It was a good balance. But definitely way more action compared to the new season. This season was just more on like the philosophy aspects and moral and all that stuff and so on and so forth. And it was
yeah,
really good stuff. You know what I mean? Like really good emotional detail. Um, I love everything they did with Kingpin as well. He's an incredible actor for that role. So on and so forth. Like they did a very good job in the emotional realm of things, and just all the built up phases. Whether if it was Punisher with what he was doing, Matt, fighting the between whether or not if he should be Daredevil or not, or he deserves it, and that was all it was
right.
about. It was basically just about like him losing his conviction of being Daredevil and thinking he lost the right ever since Foggy dying.
Yeah,
And then it just going from there. And then like when he saves Kingpin, which a lot of people were actually confused on that. The whole point of that was for him to redeem himself, so to where he could feel like he could be Daredevil once again, by like protecting the most heinous or evil motherfucker, right?
right. Yeah,
And he thought that alone would be enough to like give him the redemption he needs, and so on and so forth. Like if you look back, there's a lot of symbolism and detail with it. But that was one of the reasons why he did that. Because when I first saw it, I was confused as shit. I was like, wait a minute, like why the fuck did he just protect Kingpin? Like bro, like that's good for you. Someone puts him down, you know, like what the fuck? Like problem
Yeah.
solved.
Strange. Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, so like it was really interesting. But when you look at it a little bit deeper, that was one of the core aspects of it because I saw a lot of posts behind it, and I looked into it,
Redemption.
and so on and
Yeah.
so forth. So yeah, but really interesting stuff. And again, just to show it's good all, and it's just I don't know if you realize, Jay, but
Yeah.
the quality was really fucking good. I felt like it was movie quality compared to like an actual TV show quality.
No, I agree.
Um,
It was very,
like
very high
like you could
quality.
see a big difference between Daredevil TV show quality than that. Like I felt like I was
Right.
watching a movie, you know?
No, facts. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's
like,
facts.
it was really, really done well. It looked great. And all the fight scenes, I loved it, fucked with it. The villain Muse was
Oh
incredible, a
man,
very dark,
incredible.
sinister
Yeah.
character. Obviously fucked in the head, and it goes to show one of the brutal, dark elements of Hell's Kitchen. You
Yeah.
know, I've always said
Brutal.
it to this day, but Hell's Kitchen is basically Marvel's version of Gotham City. You know,
Facts, facts. There's
um,
brutality
but
all over.
yeah, it's pretty fucking crazy. But the only thing I will say that I was disappointed on, but at the end of the day, you can't really put the show down because this is mainly a Marvel issue, and this is why like they're always dropping the ball. There's a couple things for it, but I'll get into that in a bit. But
Yeah.
was the fact that when that whole blackout happened, the entire city of New York went into blackout and things started going crazy. And you're telling me like where the fuck is everybody? You know, where's the Defenders? Where's
Facts.
Spider-Man? Like where is everybody, bro? Like that was a
Yeah.
little weird. I don't know how I felt on that. And that's why there was like a lot of memes and a bunch of shit on social media, like where they're like showing like what Spider-Man's doing while all that's fucking going down, like he's just sleeping in
Facts.
bed and shit.
Yeah.
You know, but like other than that, so like that was a little disappointing. And unfortunately, I looked into it. The reason why they actually haven't shown Spider-Man with Daredevil yet, and they've only technically shown him in the movie, is because for TV, there right now there's a rights war going on between Marvel and Sony.
Right.
Sony,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the reason why is because Kingpin is a very complex character. So he was initially Daredevil, right, as a
Yeah.
villain, and then eventually he becomes a Spider-Man villain. And it's kind of like a little bit of a back and forth, but he's mainly a Spider-Man villain from that point. And so
Right.
because of that, Marvel's like and Sony are having a little battle whether or not if Kingpin should be Sony material or Marvel material and so on and so forth. So that's why Kingpin's only been in TV shows and he actually hasn't been on the big screen. Otherwise, he would have been on the big screen already.
Right. Yeah.
And as for Spider-Man being on the TV show, same shit. That's why he hasn't been in a TV show and only been shown in MCU movies.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the issue going on right now, and it's kind of unfortunately really sucks because it was what we were dealing with before when there was all the right issues with the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, etc. All of that was in the same boat, and it was a whole war going on, and that's why we never had the Fantastic Four or the X-Men with the Avengers and so on and so forth, and it was all different universes at first because of
Yeah.
all the bullshit,
All the legal
and
disputes.
rights
Yeah.
and politics and the IRL world of things.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we finally won the war with the X-Men and Fantastic Four. Marvel finally has the rights with them now,
Yeah. Big properties.
and they
Yeah.
conceded, so like now that's why we're finally having the whole multiverse shit, and we're finally getting all of them together pretty soon. Especially
Yeah.
if you look at the
Finally.
cast for Avengers Doomsday,
Yeah.
because the Fantastic Four is going to be in that movie along with others. So and X-Men characters. So like again, everything's finally going in a really good direction. There's a lot of positivity at least for those scheme of things, but at least for Spider-Man or anything with Spider-Man, whether if it's villains, heroes, whatever, and even Kingpin, unfortunately, that's like the last hiatus. That's
Yeah.
really a
Hopefully
problem
that
right
gets
now, and
solved.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Those
yeah,
legal
yeah.
disputes.
It needs to because they're losing. It's a waste of potential at this point.
No, facts.
Waste of
Facts.
incredible scripts they
Huge
can have,
potential.
writing, character interactions, scaling, etc., etc. So
Yeah. Huge waste of potential. Thoughts on Carmelo Anthony's stabbing case? I'll say this from my understanding of it. I haven't looked into it deeply. It's
yeah,
bizarre that someone that, from my understanding, he killed like an opposing track athlete or something. High schoolers. He killed a fellow, another guy, killed him, stabbed him to death. His bond was decreased by 400% to be released, and now he's home. That's my understanding of it. From my understanding, it was in cold blood. From my understanding, I might be wrong. If that's the case, I don't agree with, the sentencing he was given. Very bizarre that he's a child. I'm not saying he should get life. He still has a long life ahead of him, but for him to get such a light sentencing is very bizarre. That's my thoughts. From my understanding, I haven't looked deeply into it. I don't know his motives, etc. But if it's in cold blood, he deserves more of a punishment than that. That's all I gotta say. Lil Durk is looking to face life in prison. From my understanding of that, a lot of these rappers incriminate themselves, don't they, with their music, which is really stupid. Like TK, for example, I believe got 80 years. He's fucked. He'll die in prison. YNW Melly, I believe, as well. Bobby Shmurda at one point. It's really stupid. Really, really stupid. Thoughts on the Fantastic Four trailer? It's promising. Nothing stood out greatly. And in fact, I think the Superman trailer was better. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm a Marvel guy. It looks promising. We got some new faces, Pedro Pascal, the new Human Torch, etc. But I'll say it looks promising. And Marvel has been doing better as of late, at least with the TV shows. So I look forward to at least being decent from what I got from the trailer. I'm glad Galactus will be involved. Silver Surfer. Looks promising enough to watch at least. Have you watched the Last of Us TV show? Yes. Pretty good. This season has been good as well. I know there's been criticisms, very nuanced criticisms such as, oh, the actors don't look the part, they don't act the part, whatever that may be. There's always going to be critics. I think it's decent. I don't think it's spectacular or as good as a video game. That's almost impossible to replicate. But it's been good. It's been a good, season 1 was good. Season 2 has been all right. So far, so good. It's satisfactory, Solid C+, B-. God, that DDBA finale was so amazing. That's one of the cruelest things Kingpin ever did. I hope the commissioner gets avenged. Do you think Matt will ever find out about Kingpin ending him? Yeah, Matt is, wary of Kingpin, with the history that they have had. I do believe he will find out. Sooner or later, he will find out about Kingpin's sins. They have a strange dynamic, interesting dynamic. Part of Matt wants to be a lawyer, part of him wants to do it with his own hands. He wants to be judge, jury, and even executioner for certain people, right? Like we saw at the beginning of that season. I do think in time he will find out. Jura whooping Boruto. As a matter of fact, let me see something, folks. I'm kind of curious to see the chapter, even if it's in Japanese, just to see what's going on here. That's Boruto I'm referencing, by the way. But yeah, folks, Daredevil has been great. Solid season. Can't wait for more. Spoilers. Give me a second, folks. Chapter 20. Feel free to keep asking questions, by the way, folks. Just want to check this out. Raises the stakes. Alright. Kills off major character. We know that. Massive awakening. Okay. She wasn't a massive character by any means, but
My fault. I had to do something real
good.
quick.
Also, the Punisher saying the task force doesn't know his loss and pain was so good. I find it insane. IRL police actually worship Punisher too, and Frank's actors talk to them. Insanely sad. Yeah, this idea of vengeance is like appealing to some people, unfortunately. Yeah, it is very strange.
Great
I agree.
job with Punisher too.
amazing
love
job.
what they were doing.
Amazing job.
Really good.
I'm glad.
And like it was hilarious. Like in that last episode when they start arguing and shit, like it's just so funny as fuck.
Yeah, it's
like,
definitely
when they're talking, like roasting each other.
Yeah, it's definitely fire. Definitely enjoy it.
They were about to fight too. Like when he
Yeah.
shot that dude, like there was like, you just can't fucking help yourself. Like they were about to go at it, and he was like, "What are you gonna do, blind man?"
Yeah, literally.
Like,
No, they have like a
shit was
love-hate
great.
relationship. Yeah, that's fire.
Yeah.
Isn't Drake releasing a new album soon? Apparently, he's dropping a solo album this year. I
Oh,
hope that's the
shit.
case. I hope he brings back the
He's
fire.
probably gonna go crazy on that. He's
Yeah.
probably gonna go crazy, say a lot of shit.
Facts, man. I need wartime Drake back. Like,
Yeah, that's what I said. That no, he better go that route. I don't want to hear like just singing about the ladies fucking album all over.
Yeah,
again.
facts.
Like,
He already
that's what
did
the other
that.
one basically was. Yeah,
And
we need wartime Drake, and on top of it, with him addressing anything that's been going on and so on and so. Like, I want to see that because that's when the pot is really going to be stirred, and that's
facts.
when we're going to get demon mode Drake. So
Kendrick hasn't stopped. We have the Super
oh,
Bowl.
Little Wayne dissed him, by the way.
Yeah, his album. Oh, Lil Wayne, I
You
heard
know,
about that. Yeah.
yep. I haven't seen or heard it, but apparently he dissed him. That's
Yeah.
crazy,
I hope
crazy.
we get surprised and maybe there's like surprise Lil Wayne features. It's supposed to be a solo album, and maybe Drake will surprise us.
Yeah,
We'll see.
but you know what's crazy? Eminem called this shit a while ago in his "Music to Be Murdered By" album, where he said
Yeah.
everybody's gonna turn on you, Drake. You know what I mean? Like the higher you
Yeah.
get, the
I
more
remember that.
greater you get.
It's
The
inevitable.
whole that whole rap line he said everybody's gonna turn on you, and so on
Yeah,
and
he was
so forth.
right.
I'm like,
He
damn, that's
basically like
crazy.
prophesized it. No, he was right. He knows
Yep.
he's been at the pinnacle, in his prime he was like the pinnacle of the industry, and he knows what that comes with, what comes with the territory, the enemies he had. Um just
It's like it's inevitable. It's a natural cycle of things. Like the
yeah,
better you get, the more you know what I mean. Like when you start just becoming the best, it's inevitable for you to attract like competition and
facts.
and obviously and more judgment and so on and so forth. And people just that be envy, right? And for
Yeah, envy.
clout and all of that shit, it just all comes through. And it's a lot of bullshit, but that's the price of being one of the best rappers alive.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
It's
So
an inevitable,
you know.
you know, I guess aspect of that level of fame and
Yeah.
success.
It's
So
also a testament to who he is too. Like it
yeah,
goes to show that it clearly isn't a bunch of bullshit, or it's not just he's just nothing but not like no, he has the numbers and he has the reputation.
consistency,
So
yeah. Decades.
yeah.
I mean, over a decade of consistency, so
And work ethic wise, that motherfucker don't stop. While
never.
everybody else has taken their vacations or breaks or whatever, or they just retired.
Yeah, and he surpassed the Beatles for most cumulative weeks on the top 200 album list. I mean, he surpassed fucking the Beatles.
Not
That's
as
how
big
great
as
he
Michael
is.
Jackson. That's why he always
Yeah,
has the Michael Jackson references and the shit.
yeah.
Like
He's like,
The
yeah, he
dude, the
made,
dude is doing his thing, and the craziest thing, the only one that comes close to Drake and has actually passed him in certain regards as well is Eminem.
yeah.
That's the crazy thing.
Accolades wise,
Eminem's the only other motherfucker.
album
Like,
sales, longevity.
yeah,
It's only him,
it's
really.
only Eminem. That's it.
Yeah, he was basically he was the pinnacle in the 2000s. Basically, that was him. So,
Yeah,
and then Drake basically took the mantle in the 2010s and onward. So,
yeah,
it's pretty
man.
crazy. He knows, if
Crazy.
anyone knows what that position is like, it's Eminem. So
Yeah. M even got the reward. The I forgot what it was called, but it was like a
yeah,
Hall of Fame rapper award. Like only him.
yeah,
Like that's
exactly.
pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty. He's pretty.
So.
Yeah, he's one of the few that can
I
understand.
think Tupac and Biggie also had that reward, but I could be wrong on that, but I think they did too. But yeah, but either way, like that's really like really really big deal and rare that they give out to rappers because they look at
Oh yeah,
everybody and what we've
huge.
done as a whole. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
so
The Daredevil ending reminded me of the Boys' latest season ending. I forgot if it's season 4 or 5, but it has a similar ending. Love both endings. Peak,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely,
the
definitely
we
similar.
the we need an army thing that has me very intrigued. So I wonder what they're gonna do with that. It's either he's talking about New York, and that would be the worst case scenario. I hope that's not the case. Or he's talking about like, and when I say New York, the people, by the way.
Yeah,
Or he's talking about the Defenders, or it's any other Marvel,
yeah, entities.
crossover type event, or any
Yeah,
other characters that could be put into the show. And they've already done because here's the thing, we've seen this. I forgot what her name is called, Miss Marvel. Even though I think the movies and the show was mid or ass.
yeah, it was ass.
What's it called? But they already introduced her father into one of the Daredevil shows in the bank.
Yeah,
That was the father of Miss Marvel, and they were talking about that chick and whatnot. So like again, the sky's the limit. There's many things they could do, whether if it's characters from the movies or any other TV show. But the we need an army statement, that's gonna be pretty fucking cool. And it's a little bit unfortunate too, because if anything, if we're really being honest, if anyone was to really be helping Daredevil, it would be Spider-Man, because
no, that's yeah,
Kingpin is a villain mainly for those two. Like
exactly.
that's like so like if I'm being honest, like the Spider-Man would have been introduced so long ago, whether if it was in the original Daredevil seasons or at least as of fucking now, especially. So I'm really hoping they all get their shit together or whatever, because
Yeah,
we have a really weird issue here.
yeah,
Like the
it's a
fact that
natural
Spider-Man's
choice.
nowhere to be found with Kingpin
Yeah,
is really weird. and he also has a close relationship with Daredevil. He even knows his identity as well. They
Yeah.
both know each other's identity. Like, so like we need to figure out something with that. But either way, regardless of that, like I'm really curious what they're gonna do with that. So
No facts. She got a calmly like ability. It's similar. If you mean Sarada, it's similar, but it's different. And it's
is it similar to
functionality.
like the sniping ability? Because I know damn well it's not phasing through shit.
Yeah, not phasing. I think she can
Yeah.
like snipe somebody, but it's instead of like absorbing someone, she's like, basically engulfing them in a black hole and blowing it up or some shit like
Does
that.
it
Basically,
require her eyesight as well, like Akashi looking, or she could just
it
summon in there?
from the I think it's if I had to guess based on how these other similar abilities work, I'm assume eyesight. Yeah, I'm assume she has to like
Okay.
see like
Okay,
pinpoint the
because that's a
location.
limit. That's a limitation. Because if it didn't require eyesight, then that's broken as shit. Like if she
Oh,
could
it's
just
broken.
think and then
Anywhere on
just
Earth.
summon it and bam, get you,
Yeah,
like that's even more fucking broken than that the Kakashi's calm wing. You know what I
that'd be
mean? Or
cracked. Yeah, that'd
Obito's
be
calm wing
cracked.
technically, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that'd be
pretty
like
fucking
some
cracked.
fucking Kaguya shit.
Yeah.
Top
The
five
only
rap.
problem is though, the only problem is I know damn well she's probably gonna have the Kakashi treatment because she's not a full blood Uchiha. So that shit's
Oh,
probably
facts, facts.
fucking her up stamina and chakra wise,
No, yeah, that's a good point. That's definitely gonna
Um,
be that's definitely gonna be a problem.
and
Definitely
she
early
and she don't
on.
got no Hashirama cells, so she can't spam it either. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
just go forever and ever.
If I had to
Like,
guess at first,
yeah,
definitely that's gonna be an obstacle. At least at first. So,
yeah.
what happened to 6ix9ine? That guy he just disappeared into obscurity. He got his
He's
ass
a
whooped. He's a bitch, first
yeah,
of all. His music was
yeah.
ass, and then he got jumped at a fucking Planet Fitness for being a snitch.
Oh,
He got his ass whooped in the bathroom, I think, a while ago. He's a
that's
bitch, man.
crazy.
His music's ass too.
That's
You read,
crazy.
yeah, he's literally peak mid or peak ass. You read Blue
Oh my
Vortex?
god.
Yeah, oh yeah, I've been reading it since the beginning. Top 5 rappers with the most aura. Aura, Pac, Biggie. Um, aura, someone that just carries the aura. I mean, I'm biased. I'd probably say Drake. Aside from that, though, maybe like Nas or someone like that. Someone that had that peak aura. 50 in his prime had a lot of aura. Nas.
Yeah,
Um, as of today, as far as new generation, there really isn't guys that have that
there
kind
really
of
isn't
aura.
none. Yeah,
No, it's the
you know,
guys of
like
the older generation. K. Dot,
yeah,
Drake. You know,
yeah. I guess you could see J. Cole.
J.
He
Cole.
had it going for a bit, building up, but then that ever since like
Oh
that one
man,
thing, people
he
just
lost a lot of
don't
points.
really.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And
he
I'm
had a
not
lot of
taking away
aura.
from his credibility as a rapper and his talent. Like he still
Oh,
has it
yeah,
all day,
insanely
every day.
talented. Yeah, yeah, insanely
But it's like
talented.
when it comes to like him having that beef element
The
or the
aura.
diss elements or just aura, right? Yeah, like he
Yeah.
lost that shit kind of went out the fucking
That
window,
was a negative
So
points right there. That was a negative
because he
moment.
was a new gen
Yeah.
rapper. He was
New gen
coming
rapper.
and he was starting to get
Shit
just
slaps.
as big and popular as Drake, etc. Right, the
Yeah.
OGs.
His shit slapped
So
too, especially at its peak. Forest Hills
yeah,
Drive, the album is peak. So,
yeah.
is John Jones still set to fight Tom? Yeah, I would say so. There is
Oh
no
yeah,
one
yeah.
else to fight. There's no one else. Alex Pereira lost to Ankalev, as we all know. He's no longer the light heavyweight champion. That's dead. No one wants to see fucking John fought Ankalev. That makes no sense. As far as the heavyweight division, like Tom Aspinall,
Yeah.
he's the guy. He's the fucking interim champ. He's been the interim champ for like a fucking year or two. Ngannou's not even in the UFC. There was like rumors that the PFL would pay John $50 million to go fight Ngannou. The problem is Dana
Yeah.
White would more than likely would never go for that. He's too prideful. He'd say fuck that. Ngannou left us, so fuck him. He's not getting this fight. I highly doubt that will happen. So Tom is the only fight. I mean, there's nothing else unless he retires. Which, by the way, John said he's willing to do that if that's what it comes down to. He said himself. Now
Oh
you could
shit.
argue you could argue it's been a while and he hasn't done shit. But he did
Yeah.
say if I have to vacate it and retire, fuck it, I'll do that. I'm not going to hold up the division. To be fair, he has. But then again, you could
Yeah.
argue it's because of maybe his negotiations are going on or something like behind the scenes.
No,
Um,
and that like what that for, as competitor wise, like I'm just
yeah.
saying.
Yeah, like he is in a position that not many, if any, in the combat
Can
sports
fuck with
will
him or
reach.
actually be worthy. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be worthy. Tom is right now in the moment. Is he the best heavyweight of all time? No, but right now he's arguably the best heavyweight in the world, aside from John.
Yeah.
The only other guy again isn't even in the fucking UFC. It's Ngannou. He's fucking in PFL. which sucks because that fight would have been historic. So let's hope it happens. Dana, everything we hear is all, it's all our hearsay. Dana's like, oh, we're gonna pay him, we're getting close, and all this bullshit.
Yeah.
We just need a set date. I'm tired of this shit. It's been like fucking over a year, and I'm a Jones fan. I just hope something happens. He fucking retires or fucking fight Tom Aspinall. And I'm a Jones fan.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
Yeah.
speed it up. What's taking so fucking long, man? Goddamn. But I'm with you
Thanks.
guys, and I'm biased, by the way. Jones is my favorite in the ring. I'm not saying he's a fucking great person, but in the ring, yeah.
No, just
Um,
talent as a fighter. He
Talent,
has.
yeah, that's undeniable. I mean, to go on coke
He's
and
the
take out,
Madara of the fucking goddamn UFC, man.
facts,
So
to take out, legends while doing coke every week, that's talent, whether you like him or not. So, where do you see Sarada skills currently? I would say bloodlusted relative to a weaker Shinju. I mean, we saw what she did to Ryu, right? The clone of Garo's adopted
yeah.
son, Shinji. I believe that's his fucking name, Shinji or something like that. Shinki, I believe, is his name. We saw what she did to him.
Mhm.
I would say bloodlusted, with her vision intact, not fatigued. I'm being very specific. Would be able to take on a lower level Shinju. That's what I'd say. But
Yeah.
to be fair, you could argue against me and say Ryu did not expect that shit. She awakened it and fucking sniped
Yeah.
him. So that's fair too. Um, Upper echelon
Well,
now
yeah,
though.
it's definitely an off guard. Like if
Yeah,
someone like awake, like out of nowhere summons a fucking weird
black hole.
black, energy thing,
Yeah,
yeah, or whatever the fuck people are calling it. Like I'm gonna be honest, I don't think it's an actual black hole because if it was, the Earth would be destroyed. But
yeah,
either way,
obliterated. Yeah,
it's just like fucking energy concept that's just can warp shit and like similar comboing.
yeah, exactly.
But either way, like it's definitely like she just summoned it out of nowhere and bam, he's getting fucked up. Like it was the
Instant.
same thing with Data. Like he
Yeah,
got
facts,
caught off
facts.
guard with his arm. Like he's like, what the fuck? And bam, he got sniped.
Yeah, it was just a big off
So,
guard moment. What's going on, Prodigy? What's going on, brother?
yeah. So
Good
it's
to see you, man.
definitely an off guard. Now, if she's doing it again, then that just goes to show it's obviously a blitz, like
A
jutsu
blitz.
activation
Yeah,
technique.
yeah, a blitz. Yeah, facts,
So
facts.
it is
What's going on,
interesting.
Prodigy? Appreciate you coming in, brother. How do you think Sarada will get EMS? The most, the most probable way is Sasuke gets, saved from that
Gets
fucking
killed.
tree.
Yeah.
And he gives him,
Yeah.
he gives her his eye. That's the most likely way. You can
Oh yeah,
argue
that
that,
too. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, or you could argue, with the scientific tool, someone makes her a fucking synthetic fucking Sharingan and she awakens it. There's possibilities
Yeah, or if
there.
like a Orochimaru does something,
Orochimaru,
or the smart dude,
that one dude,
yeah,
um,
like the fucking Batman of
Amato,
Naruto.
yeah,
Yeah, Motto if
Amato.
he does something, or 100 healings. That's her way of doing it.
Oh,
Yeah,
facts, facts, facts. That might be, it's very likely that maybe it's like
yeah.
it's kind of like a replication of
Sakura
it.
is her mom, bro. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing that she probably will awaken soon. I think Sarada might have to match the 100 healings like Sakura. That's very possible. I have a feeling in the future that's going to be the case. That not only will that give her theoretically EMS, it'll also give her enhanced AP, enhanced durability, regeneration, and make her just
yeah,
physically more capable. Her prowess will rise, and she might even fuck with the Shinju, like hand to hand. Who knows? With fucking 100 healings. So we'll have to wait and see. But there's a lot of potential with her, as we can tell. So you might as well consider Jura a philosopher. This motherfucker be dropping hard ass quotes every chapter. Dude, Jura, his
yeah,
aura is the greatest I've seen since probably Ishiki. He has great
yeah,
aura, great intelligence. His demeanor is very similar to Ishiki, actually. Very like calm and collected, like cold and calculated. Yet somehow cordial in a way when he's like just like talking to people. He doesn't even want to destroy the fucking library in Konoha because he like fucks with it, which is very like, very cordial of him, very gentleman
yeah.
like. He does have a lot of aura. I fuck with him. His aesthetic is very imposing. Um, yeah, the most aura since Ishiki, I'd have to say. Most aura since Ishiki.
Yeah,
Um,
I will say this though, Jake. Again, I haven't seen all of it. I'm behind on the board scheme of things. But
yeah,
as for Sadara, where she's at currently, because I don't know how powerful these aliens that they're all going up against. I
yeah,
know damn well they're not Ishiki level or fucking,
yeah. There isn't enough for that. Yeah, there isn't
or
enough right now.
Jigen or any of that type of crazy shit. So like, so obviously she's not like soloing Shippuden or anything like
No,
that.
no.
What's it called? But as for those creatures, I know they're like pretty powerful to some degree.
Yeah,
Whatever. like where do you think she stands, like, or like when it comes to the Shippuden verse? Like, where do you think
I'd
she stops at,
say
like, or who is she beating? Because I know her MS is broken as shit. Like, that's obviously an
broken.
insane win con she has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her best
So,
physical feat
but-
as of now, from my recollection, was when she was able to blitz Boro, who was like an inner, I believe, in Kara. That wasn't, but then
oh
again,
yeah, I've seen that with the
she
Shidori.
had
Yeah,
help, to be fair. She had like
yeah,
Boruto and fucking Mitsuki helping her, and he was like, his vision, his sights wasn't on a
and he
singular
uses
point.
healing too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say in Shippuden, she could get pretty far. I'd say she's probably Kage. You can maybe low Kage.
Yeah.
Already, she is a prodigal figure. It makes sense, lore wise and logically. She was able to
Mm.
again blitz and enter, even if he wasn't like fighting her one on one, and he doesn't, etc.
Yeah,
The
because aren't the
circumstances.
inners like stated to be
Yeah, it's
Susumu
there to
level
have
or
like the
something?
war potential of Hokage Naruto. Um,
Mm.
I don't think that's literal, like they're fucking on Naruto's level because he like shits on them when
Yeah,
he's
no,
in his
hell no.
prime.
Yeah, hell no.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's more so like a lore statement, and maybe like
Like Boruto and Sarada at that point in time, like when they're trying to rescue, like they're nowhere near Sasuke and Naruto's power.
no,
Nowhere
absolutely
near.
not, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And Boro isn't even a physical combatant. He's more of a hacks character anyway. His war
Yeah, he's just
potential,
like he was the weakest of all of them,
yeah,
I think too.
definitely physically, physical
Yeah,
prowess wise.
physically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his war potential would come from his fucking illness, fucking hacks where he like spreads virus. That would be his war potential, like
Yeah.
damage wise.
Like,
I would say,
you know what's funny? He's basically
yeah.
hit on 2.0, but just more better in hacks
Yeah,
form.
like a better version of
Like,
Hedon, who with like a hacks that makes up
yeah,
for his lack of physical prowess. I would say
exactly.
she would go up to, if I had to, on top of my head, she'd go up until like Sanin plus tier. If I had to give her the benefit
Okay.
of the doubt, I'd say maybe that far, physically,
Yeah.
at least. After that, like Minato plus and Itachi, I don't think there's enough yet to say she could
Yeah.
contend. Again, people could argue and say, well, she took out a fucking Sinju. Well, again, the guy was off guarded. It was with a hacks, not with their own physical ability. He was off
Yeah,
guarded.
exactly.
She just awakened it. He was like,
Well, not only that, the fact that she
yeah,
resorted to using the MS ability, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like that's another thing we all forget. Whenever Itachi, well, not even Itachi, because Itachi was just that fun guy.
yeah.
Sasuke's a better example. If Sasuke wasn't physically capable of dealing with somebody, what does he do? Susanoo or Amaterasu, right? You know
Madarasu.
what I mean? So like,
Yeah,
so the fact that she's going to her Mangekyo ability, I think that does go to show that the physical aspect of things
there's a
she
gap.
wouldn't be
Yeah,
able to compete against. Yeah, there
no
would be a
facts.
gap.
Yeah,
So
no, I agree. Yeah,
that's kind of yeah.
I agree with that. And I think,
But
yeah, physically she's quite capable for the in terms of Shippuden. Again, it's hard to pinpoint exactly where
we
she
just don't have
scaled.
enough yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would say
yeah.
like
Okay.
roughly speaking, Sonny plus,
You know
perhaps.
the vibes that she gives me. Honestly, she's basically Kakashi all over again. Like Kakashi,
Yeah,
he has his limits physically wise, right, throughout the entirety of Shippuden. But when it
yeah.
came to his Kamui ability, that shit was a whole other level of scaling. You know what I
Give
mean?
him an
Like
edge.
it
Yeah,
was, it was like where it's over here, like reacting to a Susanoo arrow from fucking Sasuke and shit, and doing all this crazy shit and whatnot, and then we
yeah,
even have like the war arc shit. So like that's what I'm saying. Like that's kind of the vibe. Like I've been here from what I've been hearing, right, and seeing a little bit. Like it's her MS isn't has insane scaling, but her body that's has its limits, right?
yeah. There isn't enough. Like
So
prior to that, Ryu was gonna kill all of them. Like they had no fucking hope to defeat him. Prior to her
yeah.
awakening her MS, they were dead. I mean, it was pretty set in stone that if it weren't for that,
Boruto though, I know he is insane physically.
oh yeah, he took
Like
out
yeah,
fucking code without limiters, or like at the beginning, and that was without any like real hacks or karma or anything or
yeah.
sage
And
mode
isn't
or
that code above like Jigen without
yeah,
limiters?
he's above
Yeah.
Jigen at least, maybe not Ishiki,
Yeah,
but
so
he's above
so
Jigen. Yeah,
yeah, so Boruto absolutely solos the whole verse of Shippuden.
facts. Oh,
Absolutely. Like that's not
easily.
even without a question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's beyond
So
his dad already, like basically.
yeah.
Well, aside from Baryon mode, but yeah,
So
like Prime.
that's why I was curious. I was just making sure whether she got to that point and she was either relative and caught up finally, or if she like, or if there's not enough, and that's why okay. So that's why I was curious. All right, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
she's powerful, but yeah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't say like Boruto level. Yeah, not Boruto level.
Okay, yeah,
From my
gotcha.
understanding. Yeah, how
Yeah, well,
regardless.
once you like, you guys got to understand. Once you get to the Jigen territory and Ishiki or Naruto and Sasuke territory, like around those level of power, that's when you're capable of soloing the Shippudenverse. But if
Shippuden,
you're not
yeah.
at that power level, and you're just like, you know what I mean, like, and like, especially if you're just within the scaling that's obviously below the aliens, like, yeah, you're gonna have limits and That's why that's what we're basically getting at.
Exactly.
Like the five Kage, they were able to combat Momoshiki to a degree,
Yeah,
and so
exactly.
on and so forth. Like and fuse Momoshiki, Gaara was able to respond a little bit, but the
Yeah,
others got
restrain
immediately
him.
fucked up. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Naruto and base, he was the one that could go like blow for blow. Same thing with Sasuke, which shows like them being obviously leagues above the five Kage. So like unless you're like the five Kage, you know, or Naruto and Sasuke, you're not soloing the Shippuden verse. You're just not doing it.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like it's
so
very, very few that could do that. Even now in Boruto, very select few,
yeah,
villain or hero. So gotta keep that in mind.
yeah,
How strong is Mitsuki? We get an understanding when Boruto is literally toying with him and he goes sage mode, bloodlusted, because his brain is still being brainwashed from the omnipotence, and he doesn't do shit to him. Mitsuki is nowhere near Prime Naruto, Prime Sasuke, Boruto.
yeah.
Cold more than likely. He is.
It's kind of
It's hard.
sad because like
Yeah,
his Sage Mode has like the most badass looking wise. Like he has so much aura,
yeah,
etc.
a lot of
But
aura.
power stats wise, it's fucking shit.
There
Like
isn't.
like
Yeah,
you
there
would
isn't
you would,
much.
you would think you'd be getting like a Hashirama Sage Mode amp or some shit, and nah, it's just fucking. Like
Yeah,
it's just not good. Like bro, like at least Sage Mode Naruto Sage Mode was pretty fucking insane in amp regard. Why, you know what I mean? Like it was
yeah,
allowing him to fight someone like Pain or Fatigue, or it was even comparable to KCM form when you like see his shadow clone use KCM against the third Raikage, not enough, then he does Sage Mode and it's able to do similar stuff. You know what I mean? Like at least Naruto Sage Mode like was relevant. Mish, like what I get with him, it's always like a fucking L.
no, it's a
Like
huge L, and he was
uh,
completely outclassed by someone of Boruto's level. Completely. It wasn't even like
uh,
remotely relative. As far as where he exactly scales, there's nothing. I mean, he's only gone against like the
yeah.
most powerful and gone slammed. For
Like
the most
even
part.
Deppa, like when he did it, he hit Deppa, but Deppa he pulled a Gar. It was like Gar against Lee. He just tanked it, and he was like, okay,
Yeah,
interesting. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. So
like
it
every
just
time he's used it, like it's just nothing. Like he
nothing.
doesn't accomplish it. It's like
No.
Lee with the gates, basically, where like yeah, he's strong, but he can't accomplish or he can't beat the best of the best.
Yeah,
Like that's the
absolutely
problem.
not. He's not even close,
You know.
actually. Despite the hype that he had
He's
early
he's
on.
getting the lead treatment, man. He's getting the lead
Yeah,
treatment.
code treatment, lead treatment,
And it's
Konohamaru
sad
treatment.
because he has Sage Mode and Ninjutsu, so it's even
Yeah,
worse. Like at
ninjutsu
least
and
with
sage mode.
Lee, at least with Lee, you could give him like the benefit of the doubt in certain regards because he can only do taijutsu. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like if he could have done ninjutsu, he would have beat Gar. If Lee had a rising on, he would have slammed him. You know what I mean? Like if
Facts,
Lee had a
facts.
Shidori, he would have slammed him. You know what I mean? Like et cetera, et cetera. Like so, it's like Mitsuki is like I don't know what's going on. They need to
Yeah, give
like
him something.
I don't know, bro.
Like, goddamn, give him
Yeah,
one W or
like
something. What do you want to see next in Dragon Ball? I'm ready for Tournament of Power. Glad, good question. So, as far as what I want to see next, I think Black Frieza facing someone, whether it's Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, or a fusion of one of the two between those
yeah.
three. Unfortunately, there's legal disputes. Speaking of legal disputes earlier, there's legal disputes between, I believe, the publishing company and
Here
some
we
other
fucking
entity,
go.
and that's why there's been
Mhm.
like a 4 or 5 month hiatus for the manga. The anime, we haven't had an anime in like almost 10 years. Any new animation of Dragon Ball Super. We had Dragon Ball Dama. It's canon. It's like before the events of Super, from my understanding. It's
Yeah.
just additional plot for entertainment purposes. It doesn't give us anything new, really. It gave us Super Saiyan 4, made that canon, I guess, apparently. Um, but it's irrelevant to the current timeline of Super. Who knows, man? I hope we do get a Tournament of Power. That'll be sick. Black Frieza altercation, whether it's Beast Gohan going, it seems implied. I'm not gonna say too much because Prodigy paid for a few videos, but Beast Gohan, Gohan hasn't reached his full potential with that form. That's all I'll say right now.
Yeah.
So maybe if he does, he's the one to fight Black Frieza. That guy's,
And
he's
wasn't there a statement from Toriyama where he said like they're all in like um similar regards or some shit,
yeah. At least
like
as of
that?
now,
Or like
at least as of now, they're
yeah,
definitely in
and
similar
like
regards. And Black
and
Frieza is
Black Frieza
just
was the other one above. Yeah, like just
way
way
above.
above.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
one-shotting levels, above, which he literally did. I got
Let's be real. Like, I'm sorry, but they always like for the most part, Toriyama was always keeping like the same consistency narratively wise.
yeah,
Gohan was always for Cell, right? And then
yeah,
so for Frieza, it's gonna be Vegeta or Goku more than likely being able
more
to
than likely.
surpass him eventually.
Yeah.
not Gohan. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's definitely not.
Or
Or
Broly. You
Broly.
know,
Broly,
yeah.
he's still learning to deal, like efficiently use his ki.
Because
He's still
Broly
kind
has
of a
insane potential. What he did
oh, it's
against
the
Goku and
most.
Vegeta, so
Yeah.
yeah,
He has
insane
the most
potential.
potential, and probably
Yeah.
amongst the Z fighters, he has the most potential easily.
Yeah.
That'll actually be a good matchup if he masters his ki and his ability to battle efficiently, not fucking lose his shit and destroy a planet. Him versus Black Frieza would be
Right.
interesting, actually.
No, I
That's
agree.
very 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 likely. How far would Delta get in Shippuden? Delta can spar hand to hand at least with the KCM Sage of Six past Naruto, which is impressive.
Yeah.
I think she'd get all the way to the Warwick and struggle with Kaguya. Probably struggle with Kaguya.
Yeah.
Possibly Naruto and Sasuke if they were bloodlusted when they get Sage of Six past powers. Perhaps. I don't think she'd beat Kaguya though. I don't think she
Yeah.
would beat. Oh, Jupidara is interesting. Interesting. Naruto and Sasuke is a good chance she probably wouldn't due to the ninjutsu. You could argue maybe they're far weaker than they were in Boruto. But
Yeah.
I would say safely, she's not beating Kaguya. Not beating her. I can almost say that definitively. And more than likely, DMS Kakashi would beat her as well.
Mm.
Yeah, but she'd get pretty far. Basically, almost solo. Almost solo. Not quite. Um, but yeah, folks, any questions at all, feel free. If you haven't already, by the
Yeah,
way, make sure to hit
speaking
the
of
like button.
Dragon Ball and whatnot, though, I started watching Dragon Ball actually.
Yeah.
It's been so long where it's basically like if I'm watching it for the first time all over again. And
Oh, yeah.
I will say this, like as for like as a whole, there's a lot of bullshit in it. But once
Filler,
it
yeah.
got to like the fighting elements, like the tournament and whatnot, and like bro, Goku's a met. The fact that he could instantaneous master all Roshi's techniques is insane,
That
bro.
guy is, he was a prodigy. People forget that. Yeah, that
Like
guy is.
insane, bro.
Yeah, his
Like
potential was
I
always
was doing
there
that
from
shit. I was like, what? I was like, there's no way. Like this motherfucker got a shotgun or some shit. Like
literally.
insane, insane. Like
People forget his
I forgot that
potential.
he just learned it on the fly. Everything,
No, facts.
everything.
That guy, like
Um,
his work ethic is insane, but his potential too has always been very high. People just forget like
yeah,
his potential from a young age has been crazy. Really, really crazy. There's a reason why Gohan has such high potential. He inherited some of that and then some from his father. So, um, yeah, Goku has always been that guy since Dragon Ball. Deadass. I mean, he's been taking out people since he was a fucking child. So people forget that. Um, yeah, folks, any questions at all? Feel free. Again, it can be we got some IRL questions earlier. Feel free to ask more of those. Politics, anime, media, comic books. Um, whatever you guys want to ask, feel free. It's been a good year for media, like I said. Interesting
yeah.
year
I'm
overall.
waiting. I'm waiting to get to like the further really good shit. But yeah, once I got to like the tournament arc is actually pretty early. It was in the beginning of the show. It was pretty fucking good. Fucking good, dude. So
Yeah, definitely really, really good. A lot of nostalgia whenever I watch that again. A lot of
yeah,
nostalgia. Do you watch Solo Leveling? Yes. And how far do you think Jinwoo will get in Naruto? Anime Jinwoo, honestly, not very far. Um,
yeah, because of
if
physical speed. Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
one thing is the speed. Yeah, the speed is a huge issue. His
yeah,
durability. Um, if he gets hit by somebody with enough AP, it might one shot him. I would say if I'm being very, very generous, he would get maybe somewhere within part one, maybe up until characters that you see perhaps in the Chunin exams, maybe some Jonin. I don't think he'd even beat full potential Gara, to be quite honest. Ninetales Naruto, guys like that. Kakashi. The speed, firstly. The hack, secondly. It would just his perception wouldn't, from my understanding of the speed as of now, his perception wouldn't even be able to capture what's happening once you get to those level of characters, and he would be eliminated before he could even
yeah.
like
Like
pull out in
the
tools.
problem with him, like fucking, like the only way like it even be possible for him to start being like a really big contender against them is if he starts like fighting like the low level motherfuckers, like the Gennings, and then getting stronger, right? Like he's getting
Yeah, it's
stronger and
leveling up.
stronger from beating them and getting that like level of power and experience. And then he gets stronger and stronger to the point where he can fight, like the Kages or low Kage level, whatever, and things like that. If he does it like that, then that's where it's interesting, and then it just gets like the conversation basically of like equal stats, right? Like then how would it go?
Yeah,
But yeah, but as like where he is so far and like the scaling, at least anime wise, I don't know. I would assume there's a manga for it,
yeah,
but from what we know in the anime, like he doesn't have anything to show that where he's like casually, breaking the speed of sound and shit and so on and so forth, so
yeah. Once the manga is considered, the answer changes. He would definitely deal with upper echelon, but he would never, even from my understanding at his peak, would ever deal with like Kage plus level, high Kage level, no matter what version of him he used. From my understanding, he just never reaches that level of power. Um, Definitely not like Warwick and Warwick levels where you're talking about planetary and plus. I never even seen that ever. So, um, Momoshiki cooking something up. Bro's been selling for 2 years. Momoshiki throughout the manga, he's always been foreshadowing things. He always gives these like foreshadowing statements where almost as if he's implying something is coming to fruition. Um, he's definitely plotting something. He knows something that maybe we don't even know yet right now. Momoshiki has
he
this.
knows everything goes to shit for Boruto. That's
Yeah,
what he knows.
it's like there's this implied insight that he has, but every time you see him speak or say something, like almost as if he knows something we don't yet. You know. So yeah, I do think something will come to fruition soon, and we've already seen some crazy shit. The Shinju and the plot twist, Boruto becoming a fucking global terrorist, all this other shit, and Momoshiki has in a way prophesied a lot of this. What if Itachi got EMS? How strong would he be? And if he had no sickness as well? If he got EMS, it's hard to say. I do think he would soar beyond the levels of people like Minato, more than likely. At least a live Minato. Um, he would
Yeah.
be beyond that. He wouldn't have to deal with blindness. His physical prowess would increase. His AP, all the major power scaling aspects would increase. As far as him reaching like Hashirama plus levels, that I still don't think would be the case. That's a huge gap in power. Massive. You could argue it again. It's all theoretical, and you have to determine how much of an app he would garner from the EMS. Um, I just don't think he'd reach Madara and Hashirama levels, in my opinion.
Oh, like Madara casually cuts mountains and shit, dude.
Yeah,
Casually, not
casually.
even breaking a sweat. And I
Yeah,
mean,
that.
and then when he was fighting the fucking the Black Ant or whatever, the fucking like that they made a hole through a mountain, but they're like
Yeah,
going all out, like all out. They're going.
all out.
They're over here doing that
Exactly.
shit casually, and
Yeah,
that's not even like full alive Madara. That was Edo Madara.
yeah. That was
You
a
know what I mean?
weekend
Like,
Madara. That's a huge gap in power.
you know what I mean?
Um,
Like,
yeah. The only other example we have is Sasuke gaining it. He gained the EMS and he was able to then contend or be relative to early EMS, I should say, to Itachi as an Edo. That's a jump. I don't think it was a gigantic gargantuan jump in power, but it was a pretty big jump in power. Um, I think he would just be the strongest character that isn't Hashirama and Madara, and that isn't six pass
yeah.
characters
And
or a
Hashirama's
gameplay.
like even tremendously even more than Madara. Like he was always
Yeah,
stronger than Madara until
always.
Madara got the Rinnegan when he was alive.
Yeah,
Like and Hashirama's like even 10 times worse. Like when that motherfucker went Sage mode, like he dealt with Madara in the Nine Tails effortlessly. He just no diffed it.
yeah,
Like so
exactly.
like that's a whole other realm of like with Sage mode Hashirama. Like so like again like yeah, it's just yeah, no, they're fucking insanely powerful, dude. Like with the
Yeah,
Biju bombs and shit, like where it's like
Bijubon.
yeah, like
They're
yeah.
like toys to them. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. I
Mhm.
think yeah, that's a huge gap, and we just haven't seen it. It's theoretically possible. I mean, but I would say it's
He'll probably
unlikely.
get there maybe eventually, but
Yeah, perhaps yeah, if he lived long enough, we never even seen that guy reach his prime without
uh,
EMS. So so who knows? But I think some people forget Goku's potential isn't always tied to his Saiyan biology, like he always was a talented Saiyan or not. Yeah, it's
yeah, yeah.
Saiyan genes help, But he was just talented in general. I mean, from a young age. Roshi saw that very early. Um, he definitely was one of the more talented Saiyans amongst the race. How much of a difference if Oro and Tsunade helped Jiraiya fight Pain? So if they all helped Jiraiya fight Pain, perhaps they could have survived at least. They're not beating Pain, not in the Rain Village, even all collectively. Um, if he's trying, more than
Yeah.
likely they wouldn't. I'd say their best chance of victory would be at the beginning, when he's kind of
Yeah.
flaunting a little bit, flaunting his power more so. They could theoretically win, but I believe Pain, when the real threat comes, he would turn on the jets, so to speak.
Yeah.
And at that point, they'd be fucked, like Chibaku Tensei and things of that nature. They'd have to leave. Evasion would be their best bet at that point. I would say more than likely they could survive. I'd say if I had to, off the top of my head, I'd say they'd survive at the very
Yeah, I'm
least.
watching right now the two animes I'm checking out is Demon Slayer and then Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball's just for the nostalgia, but
Yeah,
Demon Slayer I'm getting into that now and bro, just 10 episodes in, it's fucking good. Narrative and story
I need to
wise,
watch that.
it's
Yeah.
some good shit. I'm kind of getting some like Naruto and Attack on Titan vibes in it, but a mix of it where it's
Oh, fire.
dark and fucking but then like, certain elements of Naruto, like it's pretty fucking cool, dude.
Yeah, I need to
So,
check out Demon Slayer. That's a fact. I definitely gotta check that out. I've heard
yeah,
good
no,
things
it's
about it.
pretty dope.
It's one of the higher rated animes of today as well. A lot
And
of
they're
people
doing
fuck with it.
something really unique as well, compared to any anime or manga out there. Instead of doing seasons like any other manga normally does for their anime adaptations, they're doing
Yeah.
movies for the season for
Oh, that's
Demon Slayer.
sick.
It's
That's
only
definitely
movies.
that's a unique take.
So, so
Yeah,
it's like it's them doing movies for the canned material, like for the main story, and so on and so instead of just making it 20-minute episodes. I think that is interesting, but
that's very interesting actually, and
yeah,
definitely a different approach. I don't think we have seen in anime. The
no, yeah.
movie,
Because normally when there's a movie in the anime, it's normally considered not canon,
yeah,
or sometimes it could be, but for the most part, it's not considered canon,
right, yeah. They're
But
encompassing like each maybe a few arcs into a movie or something like that. That's a pretty cool
yeah,
concept actually. I definitely gotta check it
mhm.
out. It's on my list for sure. Solo Leveling jumped up because of all the hype I've seen. So
Yeah,
I had to watch that.
yeah. No, that's
He,
why I saw Solo Leveling first too. Yeah, because I just all the hype. Yeah,
yeah, I definitely had to check the
Same.
amount of aura even before I watched it, the amount of
Mhm.
aura I was getting from Jinwoo was crazy, and I didn't even watch it
Yeah,
yet.
no, he's the. I'm sorry, but he's definitely the Aura God. Like, I'm
He's
sorry,
aura
dude.
god. I mean, he's what Gojo could have been if he beat
uh,
Sukuna. He's what Gojo would have been.
literally, dude.
Yeah, that's basically full potential Gojo as far as aura farming. Um, he's him. I mean, he's the highest aura I've seen since I don't even know, fucking Itachi or something. His aura is fucking crazy. It's crazy. Have you watched My Hero? I haven't watched it, but that's another one on my list. My Hero. I heard it's really good. Um, yeah, so I don't know anything about that yet, but I do want to watch that most definitely. But again, folks, feel free to ask any questions at all. IRL, politics, conspiracies, controversies, anime, comic
Word.
books, anything at all.
Oh no, that's what Jay. No, the fucking the celebrity females on the spaceship.
Oh my God, Katy Perry, dude. What the fuck? What was
The fact
that?
they're over here calling themselves astronauts and shit and fucking like, bro, you motherfuckers not only were in space for only 4 minutes, the whole trip was 10 minutes long.
10
You're in
minutes.
space for 4 minutes, okay, and fucking dancing, celebrating, whatever, while an actual astronaut has to like train for years, fucking get a degree and
Real merit.
shit, like
Yeah.
pass and then they're in space for weeks, months,
Months.
years.
Facts. Facts.
That's
It
an
really.
astronaut, bro. Like
Yeah.
that's like me doing fucking like some training for the Marines, right? Like just to get a feel of what
Yeah.
the Marines is like. Like, it's like doing a YouTube video. You're doing like their fitness shit, whatever, blah blah. And then at the end of it, I'm like, I'm a Marine now. Yeah. It's like, no, bitch, I'm not a Marine. Like, in order for me to be a Marine, I have to enlist and do everything. That's what a Marine is. Like go to
Nah, yeah.
war and shit. Like, fucking like,
It
bro,
just
yeah, that
shows,
that the
yeah,
delusion was
it
crazy,
shows like
crazy.
the narcissism of some of some celebrities, especially
Yeah.
like Katy Perry kissing the fucking ground. Like, bitch, you were in the sky for 10 minutes. The fuck you kissing the ground for? Even Wendy's had
Yo.
a W take. The Wendy's, the restaurant
No,
company,
but
they
I'm actually proud of the world because instead of everybody going woke or being fucking stupid,
yeah.
woman on top of it, but everybody was roasting them, bro, for that
Yeah, they
shit.
had to.
Everybody,
They acted like they were that one.
everybody.
They acted like they were the astronauts that got stuck in space for 9 months. Like the one that
Yeah.
the ones that
Oh
barely
no,
got
and
back.
that was what
Yeah,
was crazy too. Like an official female astronaut and a male, they were supposed to be in space for a week. They were doing a mission.
yeah.
An
They got
accident
stuck up
happened
there.
and it went wrong. They were stuck in there for months.
Months, fucking
Stuck in space
months.
for months.
Yeah, literally, they
Like,
got fucked
and they had to
over.
survive and trade. Like, imagine being stuck in space. You're only supposed to have food and whatever you have for only a week, and you still somehow survive for months.
God
And you're away.
damn,
Like,
dude.
bro, that's insane.
No, yeah, and
That's
then
insane.
they act like that was them. Fucking Katy Perry coming down, like, oh God, I missed Earth. I mean, bitch, you were gone for 10 minutes. The
Like,
fuck
and
you talking
they made
about?
a statement. Like, they actually got offended because of what they
Yeah,
were doing and how they were talking. And they actually made a statement responding to it. And it was very simple, but they're like, hey, like, you guys are not astronauts. You went on a fucking joyride. You know what I mean?
facts.
It was like riding an attraction at Disney World. You know what I mean? To go to
Literally,
space or whatever.
exactly.
Like, you're not an actual NASA astronaut.
No, not even
And
close.
the woman, like, she didn't even sugarcoat it at all. She was like, you guys say feminism, whatever, blah, but no, there's actual astronaut females. And
Yeah,
if we all went to space, then yeah, it would apply, but not you bitches. Like,
facts.
fucking,
Like, just the narcissism,
so
the narcissism from the
yeah.
celebrities, like Katy Perry. It's so apparent with things like that. Like,
And
bitch,
guys, this isn't even about sex either. If it was males doing the same shit, I would also
facts.
say the same exact shit and clown the fuck out of them. If it was males like Elon Musk or
Oh
whatever the
yeah,
fuck, you know what I mean? Or if they all went for 10, I would shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, you
yeah,
ain't an
no, no, no.
astronaut either. Like,
Yeah, don't claim to, have the level of merit that real astronauts have. Especially guys like that.
no.
That's fucking
It's
crazy.
disrespectful. It's
Yeah,
disrespectful to do
very,
that.
very
You know?
disrespectful.
Like
Um,
astronauts are basically space military in a
e-
simple consensus. You know what I
exactly.
mean? Like, don't do that.
That takes true merit, resilience to actually
And it's
do.
very hard to get into as well. It is
Yeah,
not easy.
yeah. It's almost like
Very
a
hard.
fucking lottery. Like the most prodigal figures go in space and are astronauts.
Yeah,
So
it's like special forces in the military, but instead in
facts.
space. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
so you got to do
Um,
tests, you got to do fucking college for that shit, the whole nine, training.
yeah. So many stories of like people taking decades just to reach that position. So
And then it's also disrespectful to the astronauts that first went to space, which are AKA men, and they
yeah,
went or whatever, and they died. We don't even know what the fuck
yeah.
happened. Apollo, like,
The Apollo
so
missions,
come on,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
like, so again, it's like shut the fuck up.
Very disrespectful. What do you think the most effective fighting style for self-defense is? In the real world, I'd probably say kickboxing. In the real world, maybe Muay Thai. Muay Thai is a little bit more slow in pace. It forces you to come closer into contact with your opponent. Kickboxing, if you're good with distance, you can avoid most shots. I would probably say kickboxing from my recollection of martial arts in the real world.
Yeah,
In sport and like mixed martial arts, the most champions have a pedigree in wrestling actually.
yeah, it's actually
Khabib,
wrestling. That's yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
John Jones.
Hmm.
Look at some of those dominant champions in
How
UFC
to
history.
jujitsu?
Yeah,
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu is very useful. The ability to manipulate another man's body is very useful.
yeah,
Because then you could, drown them, cause them to not even strike as efficiently because they'd be worried about the takedown. But yeah, in the real world, probably something like kickboxing. Probably something like kickboxing. You have multiple weapons, your fists, your kicks, your knees, your elbows. You can use distance. There's still somewhat of a boxing background there, bouncing around. Muay Thai is more stationary. There's probably a greater
yeah,
chance of being knocked out in comparison to kickboxing, at least in my opinion. Um, this is obviously considering people of equal skill level in this, these disciplines. Um, but yeah, that's what I would say. Apparently, there's a Star Wars anime releasing next year. Star Wars is pretty peak, especially back in the day. Star Wars is peak. Hopefully that's the case. The Disney Star Wars movies were they're all right. The ones of late, they're nothing compared to the past. Star Wars, Phantom Menace, Return of the Sith, all these peak movies back in the day. But Star Wars will always be a peak media. How far would 20 Finger Sakuna get in Naruto? Uh, 26. I would say if I was being generous to 20 Finger Sakuna, he's like large city level perhaps. He would struggle with Jin Cherokees greatly. Probably not defeat them.
No.
Yeah, he's peak
And
JJK is
the
like city
speed
level.
scaling in JJK is really rough. That's where
Yeah,
unfortunately they lack. Like the
sound like
hacks, they're fucking the sky's the limit, but
yeah,
the fucking their
speed
speed is what really unfortunately.
they lack
So,
greatly. Yeah, like upper echelon Naruto would just fucking perception blitz these people in JJK. So that's the problem. And their AP is fucking ridiculous compared to even upper echelon. A Jin Cherokee would
yeah,
fucking blow Sukuna in half and blitz him. So he wouldn't even have time to perceive what the fuck's happening and awaken anything. A fucking domain expansion, nothing. He'd be fucking blown to bits before he even realizes what the hell happened. So
yeah, facts.
yeah, it's just a completely different league of speed. Fucking Mach 3 is fast in that verse. That ain't shit in Naruto. You see that shit in like part 1 early. So
Hmm.
it's a huge difference. Yeah, huge difference. But yeah, folks, any questions at all? Any questions at all? It's been quite some time. Any questions at all? Definitely a great year for media. Combat sports, it's been interesting. May will be interesting. Ryan Garcia will be fighting. And on the same card, Devin Haney will be fighting as well. If they both win their fights, they'll fight each other again, I believe, which should be interesting as well. But yeah, any questions at all, folks, please feel free. Um, but yeah, let's just hope the MMA gods allow for John Jones to fight Aspinall or Ngannou. I think we're all hoping that. That'll be the peak of the sport, if either of those matchups come to fruition. So, any questions at all, folks? Any at all? Do you watch One Piece? How far will the 4 Yonko get in Naruto? I'm not that far in One Piece yet. I haven't finished it, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm gonna eventually watch One Piece. I'm gonna give it a chance, give it a shot. Like fuck it, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
But it's not on my priority list though. But
yeah,
it is in my my watch list.
yeah. I haven't caught up. I haven't observed One Piece in a while. It's been quite some time.
Yeah, I'm doing Demon Slayer first and Attack on Titan first, and then I'll do One Piece.
Yeah, Attack on Titan is fucking peak. Yeah, that shit is peak.
Yeah, I haven't finished Attack on Titan. I like left off on like the third season. So
Oh yeah, it's so good. The narrative might be the
I
best I've
I, I,
ever.
fi- I finished the one where they like fought the Beast Titan. I mean that
Oh
whatever
yeah,
season
yeah,
that
yeah.
was.
That's
Like
so
right after they
fire.
fought him and shit, and Levy was the fucking goat and like fought him and soloed and carried.
Yeah,
That's where I left off, and yeah.
yeah. Levi is his aura is insane in Attack on Titan. He's one of the biggest aura formers in anime. That
Hmm.
guy's insane. I mean, some of the moments that guy has, it's insane.
Yeah.
Let's see. But yeah, folks, any questions at all, please feel free. What verse do you think Naruto might clear? A lot of them. Solo leveling, JJK.
Yep.
Probably, from my understanding, I haven't watched all of One Piece. One Piece,
Maybe One Piece, yeah.
maybe One Piece. What if Pain went to the Five Kage Summit? If Pain went to the Five Kage Summit and let's say he has information on who's present, it would be a slaughter. I mean, he'd show up probably Chewbacca, fucking Shinra Tensei to fucking level the summit, fucking kill most people, and just take care of the rest. He's just too dominant. He'd be in too dominant of a position. If he didn't know who was there, the Raikage, his interaction with the Raikage would be interesting. His speed is something of note, even to someone of Pain's
Yeah.
caliber. The difference is here's the thing with Pain though. He has the ability to use abilities such as Shinra Tensei, and I do
Yeah.
believe his
Jutsu
percept
activation. Yep.
exactly, and I do believe his jutsu activization is fast
Like if
enough.
Sasuke can react to V2 Raikage with Susanoo or
Exactly,
Madara,
with
you know what I mean?
Susanoo.
Like, come on,
Yeah,
like
I don't think honestly, even V2 Raikage wouldn't be able to get close. I think he'd get fucking Shinra Tensei in the face before he could even reach Pain, in my
Yeah, no, like
opinion.
if it's full power paid, I think he's absolutely dog walking
Yeah,
Raikage.
dog
And that's just
walking.
because the hacks and jutsu, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, and even and arguably even so, especially if you analyze Nagato's feats, there at least be some relativity, right? You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's his chakra, you know. So
exactly, exactly. He's definitely full power
so
Pain.
it's not like he's like Raikage's like blitz tiers above. Like that's not. There would at least be some relativity, you know. Even if you don't think he's KCM level or above KCM level, Pain himself, at least relativity bare minimum. Like there's no
Yeah,
shot, you know.
I would say quite safely his perception speed would be more than enough to anticipate the Rikage's full speed, like physical speed. And
Yeah,
Shinra Tensei would just offset any physical disadvantage he has. He just fucking blows ass fucking sky high. Everybody else is a
yeah.
non-factor for the most part. He just has to avoid the particle style. I mean, fucking Onoki's
Like, bro,
slow as
even
shit.
Gara's sand could like respond to a degree, right? You
Yeah,
know, of like V2A, you know, like from a distance, and so
exactly. So I think he clears. Everyone else is a fucking non-factor. Onuki's slow as
yeah,
shit. Then you have fucking Gara with his sand. And you have, Mei's ass. Everyone else will get slaughtered. Probably one-shotted. He's just far stronger than everyone present at that point, especially if he's bloodlusted. So yeah,
yeah,
it wouldn't be much. Itachi and Kisame versus the Kage Summit. Again, if they're trying to kill, it'd be pretty bad. Again, the Raikage interaction would be the most interesting. But then again, Itachi's
yeah,
perception, I think, is enough. Tsukuyomi, GG. Kisame could absorb chakra, fucking summon the water dome
yeah,
in the middle of the fucking summit and start fucking siphoning chakra. It'd be a bloodbath if they're
yeah.
serious. Yeah, it'd be a
All
bloodbath.
I could easily see Sasuke replicating what Madara did to the Raikage, grabbing him with his Susanoo and looking at him with Tsukiyomi, bam, done. You know what I mean? Like,
Done.
you know,
Yeah.
so like, you know, so
It's a
there's that. So like,
slaughter.
even if he doesn't have the physical, you know, capability with Raikage, his
Yeah.
Susanoo would be able to protect him. You know, so
Exactly. Susanoo, Tsukuyomi, I mean, the fucking Amaterasu. It's a bloodbath, man. And
and his
Kisame,
Totsuka blade feats are insane. It's very
yeah.
fast. So,
It's Totsuka Blade, fucking Kisame siphoning chakra. He would right away weaken the Raikage with his siphoning. Right away,
yeah,
probably. If Itachi knows of these characters, he'll tell Kisame, hey, start siphoning chakra, buddy. Let's slow this guy down. And then it's
yeah.
wraps. I mean, we don't have a fucking chance. Pain versus the five Kages in Madara's place. The five Kages. If Pain is serious, he would most. I mean, it's interesting. If
That
Onuki.
would be that'd be so good. Honestly, that's like a narrative I could easily saw Kishimoto do just to flex Pain's like power and shit. Like,
Yeah,
because he did something insane going to fucking Konoha's entire military nation, right? And just
exactly.
fucking dog walking. And mind you, like those Pains are like at a pretty far distance from
Pretty far
Nagato.
away. Yeah,
And even though it's vague, we don't have a lot of information surrounding on how that affects the Pains all around. We do know it can like affect like what jutsus he can use depending on his stamina and chakra level.
exactly.
And I mean, like,
Yeah.
because he was so fatigued to the point when he was fighting V2 Nine Tails to where he couldn't even do chaotic Shinra Tensei. He had to get closer and then he could do it. So does
Yeah.
that mean like at all times like he can't do no, it's just he was obviously fatigued and the distance didn't make it any better, you know? So
Right.
like
Yeah.
there's but it's interesting and it's vague. But either way, like if Nagato is obviously, you know, at some distance, right? He's in like, you know, a certain area, whatever, and he sends the paths to go. That'd be pretty fucking. It would be amazing, dude. Like he basically be there and be like, "I'm a god. You all gonna listen to me," type shit, you know. And
Facts. Yeah.
shit would go down. And I'm gonna be honest. He's definitely shitting on all of them. The only person that's really gonna be a threat is the Raikage.
The
You
Red
know.
Kage.
So
Yeah. And again,
yeah,
perception
that's
is
the only
faster
one.
than physical speed. I think his perception would be enough for the Red Kage.
Like
Shinra.
and it's gonna be way easier for Nagato too for the Pains because he had to fight an entire military force. And
Yeah.
that's
Entire
very
village.
taxing and very tiring. You know what I mean? Like he's
Yeah.
fighting all these Lokage people, all these tuning, Jonings, you know, then Tsunade, a Soning, then eventually even someone above the Soning, Sage Menor. Like he went through a lot of shit. If he could do all that, just a couple Kages being there and joning, like that's nothing to him in comparison.
Yeah. Like
It's way less people. Like
way
there's no he
less.
doesn't have to deal with he fought the whole Anbu military force of Konoha too. Like that's
Yeah.
insane.
It was
like,
very. It was a very prolonged
like
battle just because of the sheer amount of fucking
And they weren't even
Shinobi.
together. Like they were all
Yeah.
split. All the
All
paths, they
over.
were not even
Yeah.
together. So
Exactly.
he's fighting a whole military. So this just goes to show a testament to all the Pacifians where they're all clearly like relative to one another and clearly really powerful. Because if they weren't, then you know what I mean, like obviously they'd be getting taken down and shit, you know? So like
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, like, you know, Pain's no joke. So he's definitely accomplishing a 5 Kage W. Like I really
Yeah.
do think he could do it, you
More
know?
than likely, I'd say he
So
would probably, yeah, he would accomplish it. His hacks, his perception, his 360-degree vision with all the
especially a
pains present.
chaotic Shinra Tensei. How the fuck they survive
Oh
that?
God, that'd probably kill if not all of them, most of the Kage just right off the bat. It would greatly damage these people.
You
It
know, like
Yeah, he's in another tier. The upper echelon Akatsuki are in another tier compared to
and
like
here's another problem too. Like Donzo, he's the only thing that's really interesting, and that's only because of his Kodo.
yeah,
You know, like, but let's be real. Like, yeah, okay, he can control one of the past, but once they realize one of them's under Genjutsu, they just have to release it and touch him. That's it.
right,
Like,
yeah,
you know, or Nagato could technically just disrupt the Genjutsu because the rods are in the body. He could just do it himself.
yeah, he
You know
would
what I mean? Like he'd
detect
be like,
it.
oh, wait a
Yeah,
minute. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, he detect it and then just, if anything, you could argue Nagato could just cancel it himself. Not even the
right,
passive pains have to touch him, you know?
yeah, exactly.
So, like,
There,
Donzo's not really a factor either in this. And
yeah,
Donzo's scaling, at best, is fighting, like, you know, not a full power 5 Kage summon. It's either, we don't know, but it was either a full power 5 Kage summon Sasuke when because Karen does, like, heal him and restore his chakra and
chakra.
stamina to a degree.
Yeah,
So either he got back at full, or he's close to full, or he's at half. We don't fucking know, right? That's the problem. But either
yeah,
way, it's still a bad look where Donzo is at full power with Hashirama cells, and he's still like struggling and just dying
yeah,
over and over by Sasuke. You know, so
exactly.
but, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like Donzo's not really a problem here either. You know,
No, he
so
lacks just the scaling. He would just get overwhelmed by someone of Pain's
if
caliber.
anything, Donzo would just be a nuisance. That's all really
Yeah,
Donzo would be.
he just keep
Like,
coming back with his fucking his fucking
yeah.
Izanagi over and over, and just
And
keep
by the
killing him.
time Donzo's like even trying to do things, like by the amount of times he's getting killed over and over, like fucking at that point the Kage would already be defeated. You know what I mean? Like because that's another problem too. At that point in time, they have no teamwork. It's not like he's fighting against the prime 5 Kage in the war, right? You know what I mean? Where they're
Yeah,
doing combos and shit, and like he's fighting a 5 Kage where they're all like, you know, not on really that good of
yeah.
terms at that
There's
point.
tension between each
It,
other.
it was it
Yeah.
was a it was basically a gauntlet situation
No,
scenario.
it
That's really
was.
all it
There
was.
was no
You know what I mean?
chemistry. Yeah, there was no chemistry.
Like, bro, when Zetsu called out that Sasuke was there, aka an Akatsuki member at that point in time, you know,
Yeah.
or a rogue shinobi, none of them gave a shit. Only
No.
Raikage left.
Yeah,
He was the
literally.
only one that left. They all just sat there. They're like, okay, cool. If he shows up, then we'll fight him. But if not, like whatever. You know what I mean? So again,
Yeah.
like the synergy, the team, like all that, like they're not gonna be trying to do like a gangbang or whatever, nothing like that.
Yeah, there
You
is
know,
no chemistry
what's
yet.
gonna happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, all that's gonna happen is Raikage is gonna go along with his two Jonin. The Jonins get immediately clapped. Raikage is like, oh shit, this guy is no fucking joke. And then Raikage gets dealt with, but you know, with the combination and coordination of Shinra Tensei and all that and whatever. Like you guys always forget, like Pain only performed the way he did because of all the handicaps. It was handicap upon a
Many.
handicap
Yeah.
upon a handicap.
Yeah.
Incel, knowing his abilities, extremely fatigued, fucking, not having Tendo power. The list goes on and on and on. Like this is a full power Pain, or with Tendo power already. Like, bro,
Yeah.
the moment his Tendo power came back, he immediately subdued Sage Naruto with two passive pains.
Yeah.
Two.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sage Naruto, remind you. That's a big deal.
Context matters. Context can't be ignored.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like if he could deal with Sage Naruto not at full power immediately with only one path of pain, okay, like well, it's two total. It's the Tendo and the absorbing guy.
Yeah, the absorb one. Yeah.
With if he could deal with Naruto that fucking quick, and we know that Sage Naruto is obviously above May, obviously above Inoki. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so like, and then if we even get additional Sage Naruto scaling, if you even consider it, because I think it's technically still within the same ballpark because it's still early war arc, and it's like Naruto doesn't get any training. The only training he starts doing was the KCM, but he's
KCM.
not like
Yeah.
doing physical training. It's just like him having the whole battle with the Nine Tails and then all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not doing any physical training though. So like it because we have the pain arc, then it goes to the 5 Kage summit, right? And Naruto has to like go from the Konoha to the summit, and then he has like the Sasuke interaction, right? And then after the Sasuke interaction, it's right into the war arc where he goes with Killer Bee to go do that training shit. So he doesn't have like any point in time to train or like get any stronger, right? You know, he immediately
Yeah.
just goes into like, let me master the Nine Tails, right? To fight Sasuke, whatever, blah blah. So like if Naruto hasn't trained and it's just back to back events, okay, and that's
Yeah,
basically what's
exactly.
occurring, you could basically make the argument that the Seijo and Naruto in that work in the beginning, right? Not in the middle or end. I'm not talking about that. In at least in the beginning, he would be in a similar degree to the Seijo and Naruto that we saw in the pain arc, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
with a shadow clone of Seijo and Naruto, he was able to perform similarly to KCM Naruto, right? So like again, even physical stats wise, it's pretty impressive in a certain regard. And Seijo Naruto is no fucking joke. A shadow clone of Seijo Naruto was Sonic Tier. Was like over here
Literally. Yeah.
clapping low diffing low Kage. He literally low diff the music not the Mizukage, the fucking mummy dude, the Tsuzakage,
The
who's equal
Tsuchikage.
to
Yeah.
Inoki. A shadow clone.
Yeah. That's
You
fucking
know what I mean?
crazy.
Like
I mean,
not even like the original a shadow clone beat Inoki level Kage.
yeah.
Like that's crazy. Imagine the original with tons of shadow clones to use, right? You know, like whether if he's in
Exactly.
Seijo or not. Like so again, Seijo Naruto's no fucking joke, and the fact that Tendo Pain with only another pass of pain defeated that Seijo Naruto, fatigued, remind you,
Fatigued.
okay,
Yeah.
and
Fatigued.
with all the odds against him, again, I really do think that's a testament to Pain's scaling and his powers. So like I don't think the Five Kage Summit is really going to be that much of a big. If anything, it's either low diff or mid diff, but he
Yeah.
wins. You know what I mean?
Max mid div. That's if you're being generous to the
Yeah,
Kage. Yeah, that's if you're being
yeah.
generous.
I mean, so like, and I think that's a very fair evaluation, like with everything that we know and so on and so forth. Because again, think about it, guys. Like, you really think Itachi or Obito or Nagato or Pain, like they're getting clapped up by the five? Like, come on, bro. Like,
Nah, it's a
like,
different league. It's a different
like,
league of power. It's implied.
yeah.
It's the feats show for it. What they accomplish. Which team
Raikage
would?
is the only one that is even a threat to that legal power. That's
Yeah,
because of V2. The only one.
exactly. The only one that
Like,
even presents a threat, honestly.
but here's the problem. Here's the problem. It's like Rock Lee all over again. You're having Rock Lee. Yeah, he has crazy power, but he's going against all this hacks and ninjutsu.
Exactly.
And that's
Yeah.
what Pain has, and that's what Itachi has, and that's what Obito has, and that's why Raikage would lose because yeah, he has the speed right to keep up, but he doesn't. He can't do. He has no countermeasures for their hacks and ninjutsu
Nah,
and
the margin for
intellect.
error is so
You know,
small that if he fucks up once,
bro,
he's dead.
he's
Yeah.
so stupid. He was fucking injuring himself severely. He lost an
Yeah.
arm against Sasuke because he just, you know what I mean? Like he's stupid. Like his
Yeah.
fighting style is reckless too. Like you know,
Yeah.
so
An
like
inexperienced Sasuke with MS. Yeah. Exactly. It was
you
like,
know,
dude.
that's not saying. So imagine what Obito would do, or Itachi, or someone like Pain. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
come on, bro.
It's a
You know,
it's different tier. These guys are experienced, more
like
powerful.
Pain toyed with Sage Mode Jiraiya. Just toyed
Yeah.
with them,
Toyed with
holding
them.
back. You know, like
Exactly. It's a different tier completely.
so.
People don't realize the differences in like the different weight classes these guys are actually in.
Yeah, and
So
that's important too because Sage Mode Jiraiya, he's actually a very interesting discussion against the Five Kage of like how he would do and so on because there's that discussion whether or not if you think he's with I don't think there's enough evidence to support he is within V2 Raikage. I do think V2 Raikage would more than likely beat Sage Mode Jiraiya. Like Sage Mode
yeah.
Jiraiya could prolong the inevitable with like his jutsus and shit, but he has the speed advantage. You know,
Yeah.
other than that, but that's an actual conversation. Like
That's a
Sage Mode
conversation.
Jiraiya against the Five Kage, you know,
Yeah.
or 100 healing Sanade, or you know, full power Ochimaru and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
More relative
um,
weight classes comparison to fucking pain. Yeah.
yeah, and the
Um,
war arc shows it. Like we see Inoki comparable or relativity with base Sanade, right? You know what I mean, and whatnot, or you know, like all of them are basically shown in a comparable regard, except for V2 Raikage, because Madara himself even says it. Oh, he's faster than everyone, but Sanade was stronger AP
yeah,
wise.
more
You know,
AP.
so
Exactly. Yeah. So there's
yeah,
like implied comparability, basically.
yeah,
Um,
you
which
know,
team would win in a 5 Kage Summit free for all? The Cloud. With who's present,
yeah,
the Cloud. The other Ray
yeah.
Kage, he's just faster than everybody else. That's the problem.
Yeah, Raikage is insane. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's insane, dude.
Onoki versus Orochimaru. Orochimaru in his prime was relative to Hiruzen. Hiruzen's above all the 5 living Kage. The 4, I guess the other 4. I'd say Orochimaru more than likely. He can't get hit by particle because he's gone, but his
Yeah,
hacks, his speed is probably greater. His
Yeah,
ability to
Orochimaru
evade.
wouldn't get hit by particle. The moment he sees that, he would just like what he detected with the tail beast bomb for Four Tails Naruto. He'd be
Yeah,
like, "Yeah, that chakra, like that's enough to kill me if I get hit directly." Like he's not
exactly.
stupid. If he saw particle stuff, he'd be like, "Yeah, I don't want to get hit by that." You know, like
Exactly. He'd be
so,
mindful of that immediately. He probably knows of it. He's very intelligent.
yeah,
Probably knows of it
that
already.
too. Yeah,
Yeah. So Orochimaru more than likely would win against Onuki in his prime. I mean, he's blatantly relative to Old Man Hiruzen, who's above Onuki. So there's early Casey
like
and
if anything,
Naruto.
like base Orochimaru would be a fucking problem with him. And then if he goes to his eight-headed, like bro, that's raps.
That's a
Like what the
blitz.
you know, like
Yeah, that's a blitz.
like. He's fucking
That's
shitting on him, and then it's even worse if you give Orochimaru Edo Tensei.
oh god.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that'd just be
What
more
the fuck does he
tools.
do now? You know?
Nah, it'd be a
Uh,
multi. It'd be like a 3v1, 4v1, whatever he wants to summon. So.
no,
Does early KCM when Naruto clear the Akatsuki? No, he doesn't clear the
no,
Akatsuki.
hell no, hell no.
No, not Pain. Full power Pain.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
Obito. And most likely not Itachi if he's sick.
yeah,
If he's fucking healthy, he's no way in hell he's beating Itachi. But if he's sick,
yeah.
more than
No, no.
likely not. Um,
Like Itachi, like Itachi's a little bit at a disadvantage in the speed parameters of things, but with his
yeah,
intelligence and with his jutsu activation, like Susanoo, you name it, whatever, he'd easily deal with Naruto
yeah.
easily.
His
So.
finesse, his
Like the
prowess
guy
with Genjutsu.
carried Naruto and Killer Bee against Nagato. If he wasn't there, they would have died.
Yeah, it would have been
You know?
eliminated. So
Yeah.
the top three, he more than likely loses to all of them. Under that, he probably beats the rest, but even Kasama is kind of an interesting conversation. Probably beats him, but that's an interesting conversation to an extent, I guess, if he has shark mode
Yeah.
and
I think if it's full, like if it's Casey and Naruto have full, then I would say yeah because he would just
yeah,
speed
yeah,
blitz him. You know what I mean?
yeah, he would blitz him.
I'm
We
sorry, but
kind of
it's gonna
saw
be
that.
really extremely difficult to argue Kasame with Samahata at full power is Minato level of speed. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah, no,
V2
no,
Raikage. I don't think there's enough evidence to ever prove or substantiate that. And even his shark form, he only has defeats against Killer Bee and V2B, and that's below Raikage. You know what I mean? So because
yeah,
Raikage was still considered the strongest, mind you, B was a perfect Jinchuriki, yet he was still considered the strongest the entire time. The Raikage means you're the strongest ninja. It's the same shit like Konan with the Hokages and shit. You know?
yeah,
So like the fact that Killer Bee, you know, like with Kasama, whatever, like again, Kasama, like he was getting, like he barely he reacted. It's still impressive, but it was just in time to V2B, right? You know,
right,
um,
yeah,
and he got really fucked up. Naruto with full case, he would blitz the fuck out of him. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
and fuck him up. You know, especially with a rising on or a fucking rising or rising should he's even more cooked. Like so, if it's full KCM Naruto, then he's cooked. Now, if it's a nerf KCM Naruto, the one that we see that starts heading to the war and trying to help out, that's clearly V1 level, you know, and shit like that.
yeah. More
And even
conversation.
even when he broke through the ceiling barrier with B, like B had to go to V2 and
Yeah,
Naruto's and KCM, and they both hit the ceiling barrier at the same time. They were able to break through, so it kind of shows like a fatigue. KCM is like within V2, you know,
right.
Killer Bees
Relativity. Yeah,
territory. And then obviously the weaker Naruto gets, because the more power he uses, the way the form works, he gets weaker, right? Then eventually, like Naruto's like around base B's power. You know, it's just they're
yeah,
constantly in the same ballpark. Because again, you guys like forget Naruto gets weaker and weaker throughout. And then
right.
eventually he literally loses the form after the Nagato fight. He's completely gassed out. Like he can't even do the form anymore, you know? And
Yeah,
he's like huffing and puffing. There's three levels of KCM. The first, which is blatantly Minato level, Yellow Flash, is stated, right? You know.
stated.
Then the
Yeah,
second,
shown.
which is V2, okay, Killer B, and the third, which is base Killer B, you
Right.
know. So and which is V1A basically, you know.
Yeah,
So
V1A.
at the end of the day, like that's what you're working with. So like if it's the other two KCM Naruto's, I feel like that's a conversation. I do think Naruto would lose because Kasami's just gonna start absorbing chakra,
Yeah, that's the
right? You know,
problem. He
and
goes slower.
he's
Yeah,
just gonna get stronger and stronger, and he's definitely gonna defeat him. And yeah, Samahato probably would try to betray Kasame again, but it doesn't matter because Naruto's gonna be fucking completely gassed out.
yeah,
He wouldn't be able to
fatigued.
move just like Killer B, you know? Yeah, he'd just
Yeah,
be fucked up. So I do think like it basically would just go even worse. Like you saw what happened with Killer B. It's basically that all over again, you know. And
er,
Naruto can't fully transform into the full tail beast state either, so he's fucked. you know? Because
Exactly.
that's the thing too. If Killer Bee was able to turn into the full eight tails, I do think Kasame would have lost. But
Right.
he couldn't do that because that one dude was there. He would have killed him. It was
Yeah.
just stated
Right.
verbatim, like he couldn't transform. It was a danger
It's
to
collateral
that one
damage.
creature. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So like that's why he was stuck to V2 only. So like again, that's basically what you want. But main point being said, if he could do what he did to Killer Bee V2 and V1 and all that, yeah, KCM Arts is fucked. And
Uh,
that's really a problem too, because at that point in time, the way the KCM form worked is when he's using it, it's threatening his life because the Nine Tails is fighting against him. He's trying to like
Exactly.
take the
Yeah.
chakra or whatever. And if Naruto does a shadow clone, it's like twice as much of a risk, you know what I mean? And it speeds up the
Yeah.
process. And if he loses all his chakra, he'll die. You know
He'll
what I mean?
die.
Now, I
Yeah.
don't think the Nine Tails would do that because if he wanted Naruto dead, he would have killed him in the war. Killer Bee
Yeah.
says that to him, you know.
And he'll
But
die with him.
either way,
Yeah.
the main point being said is like Naruto's also dealing with that aspect as well. So like
The
it's too
restriction.
much, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Dan, there's still
but
people out here saying Hokage Minato's on KCM on speed. You hate to see it. He's in that ballpark. If you're talking about alive Hokage
yeah, he's
Minato, uh,
alive. Yeah, he's in like
blatantly
that's
stated.
what's weird. Like everybody keeps saying he's KCM2 now. Where the fuck are they getting
Yeah,
that from?
there's nothing to substantiate that at all. Yeah, there's nothing to substantiate
Literally,
that.
like, and then what they keep doing is bringing up like the war arc
The
shit.
war arc,
That's
right?
him as an Edo with the Nine Tails. Like that's
Yeah,
different.
and he's
Like,
dazed and stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
like,
he's not. There's nothing to substantiate a live Minato. It's different. The context is different. The tools he has. Yeah, the Nine Tails is
bro.
in
When we
him.
see Obito close to full power, like as close as possible, when he fights Killer Bee and Naruto, his first battle, he's remind you, he had his own like nerfs as well. Like he's technically not a full like he's nerfed just as much as Killer Bee Naruto because he's controlling the other Jinchuriki, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And he has the Rinnegan, which is also taxing just by it being
taxing.
there. And like so he's nerfed in many ways, but he was literally equal to V1 speed of which is KCM Naruto and Killer Bee in base.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
like he wasn't, you know what I mean? Like so even Obito with his nerfs, along with the nerfs that Killer Bee and Naruto have from being fatigued and you name it, and traveling, like and fighting in the war and shit, like they're shown to be on a comparable level. So you know what that means? That obviously shows that like if he was at max power and Naruto was, they'd be comparable, right? They'd be the same
Exactly.
threat level, you know?
Yeah.
And we see that throughout the entirety of the war. Like he's always comparable to KCM Naruto. Even in the middle of the war arc, where Naruto reactivates the form, Obito tries to attack him with Kamui, and Naruto dodges it.
Yeah.
The entirety of the war, he's always comparable to KCM Naruto, and that's important because in theory, this is a stronger Obito. You know what I mean? And we
Yep.
know
It is.
Minato was comparable to the kid Obito, Yellow
Yep.
Mask, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like it's gonna be very difficult to argue Obito got weaker through time. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like that's really weird, you know?
Yeah. Exactly.
So at the end of the day, like it's Obito and Minato just constantly being shown to be within that realm of power. And whenever Naruto does his KCM2, what happens? Obito actually gets like he feels threatened. He makes statements in his head when he's fighting Naruto. He's like, "Oh, that power again!" Like whatever, blah blah. He's
Yeah.
having to make the tail beast go into full transformation now. You know what I mean? Like he's having to spam Kamui. Like he can't even go physical blow for blow. Like when he's fighting KCM Naruto, he's going blow for blow with him. You know what I mean? And
Blow
he's
for
he's
blow.
beating him,
Yeah.
but he's going blow for blow. When Naruto's at KCM2, he's just spamming Kamui the whole time. He can't fight him.
Exactly.
And when Naruto goes in the Kamui dimension, because Kakashi teleported him, what happens? He blitzes him with a Rising.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he blitzes it, and then when he fought Obito again, Obito had to use his wood style jutsu activation to be equal with KCM2 Naruto for a moment. But the moment it came to physical speed, Naruto blitzed him and headbutted him and sent him flying.
Yep. Took his mask out. Yeah.
KCM2 is always being shown to be above Obito, which has direct correlation to Minato. And throughout the
Exactly.
entirety of the war, he's always being shown to be KCM1 level.
Yeah.
Madara, though, as an Edo, he was blatantly KCM2 Naruto because he
Reacting.
casually blocked a
Yeah.
fucking Biju Bomb, bloodlusted Naruto.
Reflected it.
Speed
Yeah.
blitz.
Exactly. Logically,
So
it just makes sense. Minato at the peak of his powers, right before his death, was against Obito, Teen Obito,
yeah,
Yellow Mask, and was very relative to him. Not only did we see that, he even admitted it. Like this is gonna come down to who hits who first, implying relativity. He thought the guy was fucking Mamoru Uchiha because how how capable he was, how powerful he was. So it's very blatantly clear that at the peak of his powers, he was around that tier of power, around Casey. I mean, even the Raikage reinforces that premise. He says, "Yeah, you're the first to do this since fucking your dad did it," and he was in KCM when he did this feat of outspeeding the Raikage's fullest speed. So it's the most logical conclusion to come to based off what we have, and to insinuate he's above that because of War Arc feats doesn't work. It's a different Minato. He has the Nine Tails in him, right? Because when he died, he absorbed half of it. Um, so it doesn't, it's a false equivalency to even compare Edo Minato to Prime Alive Minato. It's two different
Yeah.
versions.
And
Uh,
there's tons of statements to prove that the Nine Tails can amp your base.
exactly.
And that's only if you have cooperation with the Nine Tails. And we know Minato did because he literally has the same forms, KCM1 and KCM2 in the Avatar. He has the same
Yeah.
shit as Naruto. So that means he had to do what Naruto did, befriend and become a perfect Jinchuriki, right? And so on and so forth. And when you do that, in theory, like there's a good amount of statements in Shippuden and even in Boruto as well, like where you can connect the dots of why like it would actually make sense why his base is performing way better compared to when he was alive, as an Edo. So like there's that to be put into consideration, because the Nine Tails, when it's cooperating and working with you, it literally can like rejuvenate your entire body. He can give you chakra whenever you want. Like we've seen it in with the Shadow Clone. The Nine
Exactly.
Tails, like not even KCM1 or KCM2. He's like, hey, I'm gonna give you a little bit of my chakra because I really don't want to get captured by Madara. You know what I mean? And he
Yeah.
gives just a portion of chakra. And a shadow clone summons thousands of shadow clones and then spams massive Risingans against Madara's wood style barrage.
This is
A
crazy. Yeah.
Hashirama level. Bro, you know what I mean? Like, so, yeah. So, again, like, there's so much evidence in so many ways to advocate why the Nine Tails, in theory, is amplifying base Minato. And
Yeah.
it's the only logical explanation, because he literally outspeeds all the Okage. Base Hashirama, like, he's there way faster.
Way
Has the whole
faster.
conversation, like,
Yeah.
everything he does. You know what I mean? Like, so the only logical explanation to that is he clearly had to get stronger because of the Nine Tails. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense. If he was that strong and that fast in the beginning when he was alive, right? You know what I mean? Like, and same thing for Obito. The sky would be the bro. They could do anything at that point. Fucking
Yeah.
being fucking that like above base Hashirama. You know
No,
what I
then
mean? Like, or
yeah,
KCM2, like that's insane. You know what I mean? Like
they're beatable
that's
at that
insane.
point.
Like at that point, Obito doesn't need to strategize. He wouldn't even need the Nine Tails.
No, he
You
wouldn't.
know what I mean? Like he wouldn't need that. Like Minato wouldn't, like, like it just, again, it doesn't logically make any fucking sense. If Obito was even that strong too, he would have just immediately soloed the fucking like everybody. Like he wouldn't have cooperated with Itachi. He wouldn't have, you know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
wouldn't even like took the careful route to like go to war instead of just fighting the five Kage right there and then. You know what I mean? And whatnot. And not only that, there's even a statement from Inoki where he says, "Oh, you claim you're Madara, you know, and with Madara's reputation and his power, then it should be extremely easy for you to beat all of us and just force your plans into fruition." You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And what does
Yeah.
Oki say? He's like, "Oh, well, ever since my fight with Hashirama, I got weakened." You know what I mean? So,
Right.
therefore, it's a risk, and I'd rather not take that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
now let's be real. We know Obito would beat the five Kage, but he's a very cautious person. Like if there's still any remote risk, he's not going to take it. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. But if Obito knows he's stronger than you and could easily deal with you, he will deal with you accordingly. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
does that in character too. And he's done that against Kabuto, or he was about to. He did that against Conan. You know what I mean? Like he'll confront whoever he has to confront if he knows he's blatantly more superior than you, right? And
Yeah.
there's no risk. So if he was that strong, KCM2 level, or better yet, above base Hashirama, right? In speed, right? Like, come on. You know what I mean? So again, this narratively and logically, it doesn't follow. It doesn't make
No,
any sense.
it does not follow.
So
It's just a very unlikely correct conclusion. This is, it's a interpretation is very unlikely, honestly.
yeah, like
So
I've
Kurama,
been hearing that a lot, but everybody
yeah,
keeps advocating like this KCM2 agenda for Minato and Obito. Like
it's
that's just crazy.
strange. Yeah, it's very strange, and they
Yeah,
use war arc feats, which again is a false equivalency to their original versions
yeah,
anyway. So if Kurama
yeah.
amps your base, wouldn't Edo Minato and Alive Minato be equal in base? Well, that's if you presuppose the amp only amps you to. So what you're presupposing there is that Edo Minato reaches a live Minato level of power with the amp that he receives from the Kurama amp. There's no way to prove that's the amount of amplification he's receiving. I would argue it's
Yeah.
greater than that. Just look at what Naruto accomplishes once he receives KCM1, even in base.
Yep.
I think the amp is much greater, and I don't think that would it amps your base, but you'd have to prove that it only amps your base enough to make you, let's say if you're an Edo, it only makes you as strong as you were when you're alive. There's just nothing to suggest that.
Yeah.
I
There's
think he far
nothing for that.
surpasses, in fact, from what we see,
You
he
would need
far surpasses
numbers.
it.
You would need
Yeah,
quantification. Yeah.
quantification. And if anything, qualitatively, it's implied on the contrary that he's far surpassed his alive version. I mean, he's fucking outspeeding base Hashirama. He's fucking
Yeah.
keeping up with his
Like, bro,
son
bro, Edo, we know Edo Madara was going toe to toe with Casing to Naruto physically. Okay,
physically.
not even uses Asano physically. Okay, and that's important because we eventually see Hashirama start. He starts to fight Edo Madara. Right, they're clashing,
Yeah.
and then Madara starts using his Susanoo and turns on his Rinnegan. Hashirama turns on Sage Mode, and then they start fighting, and that's the second fight they have, and it goes from there. So this is important because we obviously know how strong Madara and Hashirama are, right? Like they're way above like the other Kages and so on and so forth. So if Minato is that much drastically faster, okay, like it's very, very simple and straightforward. The dots are right there. He has to be stronger than his alive version because his alive version was struggling with Yellow Mask Obito,
Yellow
okay,
Mask.
who is consistently shown, okay, to be in like feats as well, to be around KCM Naruto's level of power, and even statements. Minato literally tells Naruto when they're in the afterlife, like, you need the Nine Tails power to beat him.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he just says that too. Like, and we know what the Nine Tails power eventually becomes because we eventually see the whole arc of him talking with the frogs about mastering the Nine Tails power and that he needs it to also beat Sasuke as well. What do you know? It's a common consistency. You know, he
Yep.
needs his KCM level of power and scaling to
Close the
combat
gap.
against Sasuke. You know,
Yep.
yeah, and to combat against someone like Obito, you know, or even someone like Itachi, etc. The whole nine. Like he needs that level of power. It's just shown throughout the entirety of the narrative. The amount of times it's stated that Naruto's Yellow Flash, aka Okage Minato, it's stated so many times. I mean, like Killer Bee
Yeah.
says it, Yamato says it. You know, like fuck it. It's constantly comparing those two that he finally hit that level of physical speed. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Of Minato,
Exactly.
not flying Raijin, but the physical speed of Minato.
Physical. Yeah.
So like again, like it's just shown the entire time. So if we have all this evidence to clearly indicate Minato's limit was KCM tier of power and speed, and then his Edo version, and we know Edos are weaker, right? They're close, but they're weaker. If his Edo is performing better, that means the only logical explanation is because he got more stronger, aka because of the Nine Tails, right?
Exactly.
Otherwise, otherwise he would not be outspeeding Hashirama, which is KCM2 territory now. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? At least base Hashirama, not Sage Mode, but
Yeah,
base
base.
Hashirama and Edo Madara and base are KCM2 physically. That's what we see.
Blatantly shown. Yeah.
Yeah, blatantly shown. And then when Madara does his Susanoo, which that's a whole other level of fucking speed, because we know Susanoo's way faster than your physical, right? So meaning the Susanoo's beyond KCM2, right? You know, same thing for Hashirama, his Sage Mode or Wood Style beyond KCM2. That's why they would still win and etc. Okay. So like again, like it's very simple and straightforward. Like it's the only thing that logically makes sense. There's nothing else that you could argue to why his Edo is outperforming his alive.
Exactly.
So like that's the only conclusion you have, you know. Otherwise, I'd be like, oh, you know, a fair game or equal interpretation or whatever, yada yada yada, right? You know, that's not the case, you know. So,
yeah, when it comes to what we see empirically, that's the most logical conclusion, the most sound conclusion, the most likely as well. You can theoretically
yeah.
come up with other things that are possible, but they're just less probable based off what you do have, what is being implied, but what is available in the narrative. So if you say, oh well, he's Edos are weaker and he's doing, he's outspeeding the Hashirama, and so that means his alive was even faster. Like no, it's not that simple.
Yeah.
He's not the typical Edo anyway. He was when he was when he was reawakened or whatever, reanimated, he was the only fucking Edo with a fucking tailed beast inside of him. Like it's not the same as the other Edos, you know what I'm saying? So It's just not
Like,
equivalent.
bro, if he was that strong, if him and Obito were that strong, bro, back then, and like already above fucking Hashirama and Madara in physical speed,
Yeah.
like, bro, imagine how strong Obito would be with all the time skip. Then, like, he'd
Oh
be
God.
like Obito is way beyond Madara and Hashirama technically at that point. Like, I won't say like insanely, but it'd be to a good degree. Like, he would at least be way above the Edos. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like, so it just again, it doesn't logically follow. It makes no fucking sense. And again, like, I think one of the best, like, there's a lot of statements that supports it, but even if we dismiss the statements, like a shadow clone of Naruto with just a little bit of Nine Tails chakra, not the full, a little bit, was able to stalemate a wood style attack from Madara that had killing intent.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
and Madara literally complimented him and started laughing, like, wow, you were not wrong. He really is quite a guy. That's a fucking shadow clone. like,
Yeah.
so again, like, and that's him in base. He wasn't in KCM, no Sage mode, in base. He summons thousands of clones and thousands of massive Risingons to stalemate a wood style. You know, like,
Exactly.
so again, yes, like, it's very, very logical, very, very rational to come to the conclusion that the Nine Tails within Minato is amplifying his stats. And they all
Exactly.
know how serious it is for the war, how dangerous, blah, blah. Nine Tails is aware of who Madara Uchiha is. So, if anything, Nine Tails has all the incentive in the world to help Minato, you know,
Yeah.
all the incentive, you know. And what I think would happen, it was what more likely happened, it was off screen while the Okages are having their conversations with the whole Sasuke shit, whatever you name it. Around that point in time, Minato's having a conversation with the Nine Tails, you know what I mean, and trying to catch up with everything with Naruto and so on and so forth, learning what everything, and next, and then he befriends him, goes from there, and bam, bada, boom, he has the power. Because what do you know? When he immediately gets to the battlefield, he immediately turns it on,
Exactly.
you know, like, instantly. So I think it was already pre-established as well when he had the cooperation with the Nine Tails. I
Yeah.
don't
For
think
him.
he started talking with him and got the cooperation like right there and then when he's at the
Yeah. There's
battlefield.
no
I
way.
don't think,
There's no
you know what I
way.
mean. Like, I'm pretty sure it happened while he was getting to the battlefield, or at least when they were summoned. You know, that's
Yeah.
the only thing that makes rational sense. So
Exactly.
again, like, that's all you're working with. And if he has the full Nine Tails chakra to use at his disposal in his base, yeah, the fucking sky is the limit for this guy, dude. Like, the Nine Tails chakra is insane, and we know Minato has insane chakra control. So you're giving ridiculous amount of chakra to a guy that has incredible chakra control.
Yeah. And
like,
already a
yeah, so
prodigal
yeah,
figure. Yeah. Exactly. So
yeah. So it makes complete logical sense for him to now be above base Hashirama. It makes
yeah.
sense, you know.
Yeah. It definitely makes sense.
So
And yes, it's by far the more rational conclusion. For him to already turn it on like that, instantaneously just arriving, it had to be pre-established. Like the
yeah.
chemistry between him and Kurama had to be. That's just by far the most rational conclusion.
He turns on KCM 2 instantly, bro, like it was nothing. You know what I
It
mean?
was
And
nothing.
then goes to
Yeah.
Avatar as well with Naruto
Yeah, like
immediately. Like,
instant chemistry and synergy between him and Kurama already. Like that had to be
yeah,
pre-established. That's just the only logical conclusion. It can't just
yeah.
come out of thin air. Like that just doesn't make any sense logically. So
Literally have to befriend Kurama and he has to be willing to cooperate with you. You know,
yeah,
otherwise you have the partial transformation, aka
it's limited.
KCM1. Or for
Yeah,
B, we saw it when Minato was fighting Killer B and A. Whenever Killer B did one tentacle, he was immediately gassed out and like gasping fair because at that time the Eight Tails was fighting against him with the Chakra tug of war the whole time. And that was
exactly.
his KCM1 arc at that point in time, you know?
Yeah,
So Killer B didn't get his KCM2, until like in Shippuden, basically,
no,
So that's again, it's all established, and that's just how it works. So
yeah. It's almost like first you got to tame it, KCM1, then you got to befriend it, and
yep,
then you unlock the full potential. So that had to have already
yep,
been done when Minato, instantaneously fucking turned it on. There had to be that
yep,
chemistry already. So by far the rational
yeah.
conclusion.
And
But
it
yeah,
makes
I've seen
and
that.
it makes sense. Yeah, it
Yeah,
makes sense because like look what everything is accomplished, like the ceiling, the rising dawn, sage mode, perfect. Like
yeah,
so.
it makes sense completely. And yeah, I've seen that narrative too as of late that a live Minato is in that realm. It's just very
Yeah, a
unlikely.
lot of content creators have been saying that now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like So whether if it's the new ones or um so on and so, like, I don't know about swag, but I think Six even also he might think he's also like casing 2 territory too, and I just, again, I don't agree with that, so.
Yeah, from what I can recollect, I wouldn't agree either. I think that would
Yeah,
contradict the power scaling progression of Naruto as well. Like
yeah,
Naruto himself, like how he reaches these checkpoints of power.
yeah.
It just doesn't add up. I think it's less likely than what conforms with the actual narrative, which is that he isn't that
And
level.
the only evidence and feat that is like the best to advocate for Casey 2, but it still boils down to equal interpretation. There's not enough substantiation for it, which is why you can't argue it. But the best thing you even have for Minato being Casey 2 is when Naruto first activates Casey 2, and then Kakashi's like Sensei, and he thinks it's Minato.
I think
But
it's Minato.
you could argue that's just the visual aesthetics, because he
Yeah,
looked extremely similar to Minato,
the
and he's
cloak.
moving
Yeah,
very fast, right? Just like Minato. So it
yeah,
doesn't mean therefore, oh, like he's now, like now he's finally Minato love, no, it's just he looked very similar, and we know Minato is always saving Kakashi. There's that similar element. Naruto does the same thing, so
right.
so again, it's just equal interpretation at that point, and you can never be able to substantiate that. That also proves that that's the best thing you could really have.
Yeah,
While to the contrary, there's just tons and tons of statements and evidence and feats of him being KCM level, the Yellow Fox,
right.
Minato, etc. The whole,
Yeah, like you
so
can argue it. If I had to argue that, I could,
yeah, you
but
could argue it. Yeah,
I just think it's less likely. Yeah, it's less likely.
yeah,
So, but yeah, folks, any questions? Let's see. Sage mode versus Sharingan. Well, historically, I mean, these are the most outlier cases. Sage mode
yeah,
is beating Sharingans, aka
yeah.
Hashirama beat Madara. Then again, you got to take into account their base. Um,
If
Naruto,
it's just Sharingan, because that's the thing. Like, I don't know if he's kind of like MS as a whole or whatever, but
yeah,
if it's just Sharingan, Sage Mode. The reason why Sage Mode technically clears and is more convenient is because that's amplifying your physical stats. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like, it's giving
Yeah,
you like a crazy boost. While with the Sharingan, all that gives you is all the benefits and perks with the shot, like copying jutsu, seeing it, whatever, right?
yeah,
And
precog.
precognition, but it doesn't amplify your physical stats drastically or just at all. And we see that with the Rock Lee fight and other fights as well, where like Sasuke could see and perceive Rock Lee weighted, but he couldn't react and his body was too weak, and that's why he was getting blitzed
Right.
over and over.
Yeah.
So like the problem is, like, if you activate Sage Mode and then you activate the Sharingan, like the problem is with Sage Mode, you're just gonna get way more stronger than you already were. While with the Sharingan, you just retain whatever scaling you have. You know. So like for the like, I guess in general purposes or for the most part, I'd say Sage Mode is more advantageous or better. But let's say like the scaling's the same, then I feel like the Sharingan has way more benefits and perks because you have Genjutsu, you can copy, you know what I mean, precognition, right, to aim dodge and so on and so forth. There's tons and tons of convenience aspects, and that's where I would give the W to the Sharingan. So like it
Right.
just depends. Like thing like scaling convenience, I'd say Sage Mode. You
Sage
know,
mode. It's more thorough.
'cause
Yeah.
if you give us like let's say you have Konohama, right, and another Genin, and you give that, and let's say they're equal, right? And you give the getting a Konohamaru Sage Mode, and you give the other one a shot, and Konohamaru slamming him. Doesn't matter.
Right.
He's slamming.
Yeah.
He's blitzing him. Like
Yeah.
so. It depends. So if it's in the scaling regard, Sage Mode all day, every day. But if
Yeah.
it's in convenience regard, I would say shotting him.
Yeah, it's more
So
thorough. It's a more thorough. It gives you more amps and more departments of scaling. Your physical
yeah.
prowess, your reaction, your
You also
speed.
get sensory.
Yeah, sensory abilities. It's more thorough. It's a more well-rounded amp. So in general, it's the superior amp
Yeah,
in
it
general.
increases all your jutsus too, your
Your
taijutsu, genjutsu,
jutsus.
whatever you have.
Yep.
Sharingan can't do that.
No, no,
Like,
it's not as thorough.
oh.
It's more so, the perception enhancement,
Like
the
you're
reaction.
basically becoming a super Saiyan with Sage Mode. You know what I mean? Like you're just
Yeah.
getting more powerful.
Just
Like
yeah,
everything's elevated. Like Goku. Like he goes from base with a Kamehameha, then he goes Super Saiyan. Now his Kamehameha is even more powerful, right? Like that's all it
exactly.
really is. So
Yeah.
yeah, like Sage Mode just takes it all day, every day, and not only that, it also if we're being honest, what type of sage mode? Because the most convenient one is fucking the frog one. That one's insane. You
Insane.
could fucking do invisible taijutsu barriers where you can't even detect it and get immediately
The
caught off
kata.
guard in one shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, like frog kata, you can like there's all kinds of crazy shit you could do with the frog. Things like that. And then Hashirama, his has like the most insane amp degree out of all sage modes. Like his
Yeah.
that whatever sage mode that was, it's insane how much stronger he gets. You know,
Exactly. Yeah.
because it's definitely not fucking 10 times only or whatever. That shit was insane of an amp because for him to go equal to Madara with the Majestic Susanoo the whole time and then now be way beyond them, like they're fucking child's play, that's insane.
That's
You
ridiculous.
know?
That's like, yeah, that has to be
Yeah.
beyond 10 times. That's a ridiculous amp and an outlier as well.
Yeah. Like
Um,
Naruto, his is more like on a consistent basis of like being 10 times. Like,
yeah,
or
that,
at least like, you know,
yeah,
but and it's not like that much of a large degree because even his base was having like several taijutsu exchanges, right? With Tendo Pain while he's fatigued,
exactly.
Um and then Sage went Naruto like obviously is above his base, obviously, but there was like some relativity, right? Some
Yeah,
relativity.
some relativity,
So like
most definitely.
again, like so it also depends on the Sage mode. If it's Hashirama Sage mode, whatever the fuck that motherfucker mastered, it's insane amp. If it's Naruto, it's like a 10 times or a little bit, right? Compared to your base. And then what was the other one? I think Mitsuki. I'm sorry,
Mitsuki,
but his shit's been
Mitsuki.
ass.
Yeah,
Like we
there's
don't really
nothing
know,
that's been, there's
but
nothing.
yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing on him.
So again, it also depends on the Sage mode, but
Yeah. What's up, guys? What's going on, Louis? It has been a minute. How you been, man?
yes,
Um,
it has.
I mean, Sage Mode versus Sharingan when it comes to precog only. Honestly, I might still go to Sage Mode because of uh, the sensory like
Yeah, because it's
enhancement.
all around. It's all
All around.
around. The shotgun is only what you can see and
It's like
what's in front of
linear.
you. It's not like
Yeah,
it's
it's
not like a
linear.
Bakugan where you have the eyes in the back of your head, like where you can
Yeah.
see all around the 360. Sage mode is literally a 360 sensory precog.
Yeah,
Like that's like
exactly.
when he fought the right Kage, the third right Kage, like that's why he was able to do like what he could do. Like it was the precog and sensory shit, like
Exactly.
and along with his speed as well. Like so with the shotting gun, it's only what you can see.
Yeah, it's
So
more
meaning like
linear.
if an attack is from behind you or if you're getting flying Raijin or some shit, you're fucked. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? With Sage mode, it doesn't matter if you got flying Raijin or not. If you could sense, you can react to it. There you go. All around. So,
exactly. It's more thorough.
and then
Yeah.
yeah, and Genjutsu is not really a factor here either because you could just close your eyes with Sage mode while the shotting gun, yeah, you could do get, you know what I mean? Like it's a hard
Yeah,
counter. So,
exactly. It's more, again, it's
um,
more well-rounded. It's
yeah.
more thorough. You have a higher
Yeah.
degree of precog, like a higher degree of vision. Um, yeah, overall it's superior.
And mind you, Naruto does that in close range, meaning like that's even harder to like. You guys know how distance works. If someone's in front of you face to face, it's even harder to respond and react accordingly. Like that
Yeah,
means you have to be really comparable to that person. While
exactly.
if they
Yeah.
charge you at a distance, you know what I mean. You have more than likely a higher chance to react, especially using precog, with the shotting gun because they're attacking it. That's why, like,
Over
when an
distance.
example, when V1 Raikage charged at Sasuke using his precog, he was able to respond at a distance. But the
Yeah,
moment he was face to face with Raikage's blitzing him and overpowering him. He
yeah,
couldn't do shit. While with Naruto against the third Raikage, he's in his face. You know what I mean? And like responding and doing shit.
exactly.
So
Do you guys have a direct link to someone who wants to support you guys? Yeah, there's a Cash App and also PayPal as well. I think it's in the description. Let me make sure.
yeah,
So there's the Cash App right there, and there's also PayPal, I believe, as well. Cash App for sure works. I know that. I might have to update the PayPal one, but yeah, you get if you don't
yeah.
want a super chat, you can go through there. Um, if you had to go to medical school, would you pick ultrasound tech or X-ray tech? They're both pretty similar.
Yeah.
I would assume. I mean, they're both rigorous, and you need to understand X-rays correctly or ultrasounds. I guess that depends on what you're more passionate about, to be honest. Does Cash App work with Apple Cash? I'm not sure actually. I know you just gotta add
Yeah.
money into it. I'm assuming. I'm assuming
Just
so.
Google it, brother.
Yeah, I'm
Google it or
pretty
YouTube it.
sure. It's pretty versatile. A slice of pizza or a burger. It might vary depending on the day, but
Uh, Yeah, uh,
Depe-
that's hard.
That's tough. I'm more of an Italian food person, so maybe most days I'd say pizza,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
I'd lean with pizza too. I feel like consistently wise, you're gonna enjoy pizza for the most part. While
yeah,
with a burger, it's a hit and miss. It's
hit and
either
miss.
mid or it's super good or it's ass. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So
Yeah, pizzas are more
pizza's
consistent.
consistently like satisfying, or
Yeah,
satisfying.
exactly.
Um,
Yeah, more than likely I'd probably say that.
like how the
Um,
fuck do you fuck up pizza? You know what I mean? Like, come on,
yeah,
So
it's got to be like you got to be a dog shit like pizza place if to fuck that up.
yeah.
Like some fucking
So
burgers, you could fuck it up quite
but,
easily. Yeah,
but
so
let's be real. Like all the pizza places that we know, like not even like legit pizza restaurants. I'm talking about like the fast food pizza, like Domino's or Pizza Hut, whatever.
yeah,
Like those blatantly clear the majority of fast food restaurants that have burgers. You know what I mean?
facts,
So
facts. Yeah.
you know,
Besides like the top tier fast food burgers, it clears everything else.
yeah,
Like fucking
yeah.
yeah. So that's just a fact. And most
Like
people would
consistency wise, yeah.
exactly
So
consistency wise, they clear. Those Cilician pizza slices slap. I don't think I've tried Cilician pizza. I don't think
now
so.
I will say this: if it's the best burger in the world or versus the best pizza slice, I might lean towards a burger because
Right.
burgers are fucking good, man. You know
Yeah,
what I
when
mean?
they're good,
Like,
they're good. You know, when they're good, they're
yeah,
good.
like that should be that shit hits. So like if it's like the best, then I would say a burger. But if it's
Yeah.
in general pizza,
Yeah, in general.
so
Yeah, like the best burgers, like the peak, like fucking In and Out and fucking
like the juice from the meat, the cheese, like
the
all of it's just
cheese.
you
Yeah,
know, like
there's more to offer with a good burger in comparison to a good pizza at the top
yeah, and
level,
I'm
you
not
know?
saying like the best pizza slice is no slouch. Like no, like that shit's probably god tier as well. And like goddamn, but let's be real, pizza still has like that pizza taste, right? You know what I mean? Like a
Yeah,
burger, if it's a really really good burger, you will fucking know.
it
You know what I mean? Like
varies.
it's
Yeah.
it yeah.
Higher
So
peaks. Yeah, burgers can have higher peaks.
yeah,
Um,
that's what I'm saying. I feel like it's a higher peak. Yeah,
exactly, yeah. Could Naruto work in 2025 if it started in 2025? Here's the thing. I think it would because Japan doesn't care about political correctness. And
yeah.
two, in the States, anime fans, if they're an anime fan, they don't give a shit about, for the most part, political correctness. So yeah, I think it'd still work.
If anything, I think it would even do tremendously even better. It'd be even
Yeah,
more popular.
it'd blow the
I mean,
fuck
like
up.
of how bro,
Yeah,
the fact that Naruto blew up and was so successful back then, where anime really like it was a low percentage of people that
yeah,
were
in the
into it, right?
States, yeah,
Nowadays everybody fucking loves it, right? It's
everybody.
whatever. So if it came out now, if anything, I think it would fucking really really bloom and be
Yeah,
tremendously way more.
I agree because
So
especially at the time it came out, the internet, social
like
media,
the animation quality would be insane too,
oh
like a
God,
billion
yeah,
times
yeah, yeah.
better.
The paint, like the paint arc and shit, no, that'd be fucking
Yep.
crazy.
Like bro, like look at the anniversary animated trailer they did where they reanimated,
Oh yeah,
all
that
it,
was
it looked
beautiful. Yeah, that was
looked
beautiful.
insane. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I would say, yeah, I'd agree. I think it'd do better. One, animation possibilities
Yeah,
are greater now. Two, the relaying of information has evolved greatly. Now we have Twitter,
yeah,
Instagram, Facebook, fucking,
yep.
you know,
Way more ways to spread it
Reddit.
and deliver it, sales. Yep.
Exactly. Honestly, the anime fandom is bigger now. That's one. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'd agree. It'd do better today, and it'd probably be
Yeah, and
the
honestly, that would go for all of them, all like the top
all of them.
five:
Yeah,
Dragon Ball, Bleach, One Piece.
yeah,
Fucking, shit like that. Like I'm sorry, but JJK or any of these most recent ones, and even Boruto, like they're only really getting the shine that they're getting because of recency. You know what I mean? Because of the
yeah.
times.
Of the
You know what I
times.
mean? Like I don't think they would be as successful as they are if it was back then when they came.
I agree. Yeah, I
So
definitely agree. Naruto's an all-time great piece of media, period. It would just stand the test of time, and it would blow the fuck up today to like biblical proportions. Um, these dumb TikTok live streamers crap on Boruto, but don't put respect on Naruto. TikTok, here's from my understanding, the anime fandom. Here's the thing about TikTok in general, and this gives a good insight on why the fandom of anime and TikTok is, I don't want to say ignorant, but perhaps, less informed. TikTok is an application for short attention spans. It's made for short pieces of information to be relayed to you via TikToks, right? Via the TikTok videos and clips, etc. It's meant to satisfy your short attention span, right? The short attention span of your brain. It's meant to also cause your brain to adapt to only have a short attention span, right? To the point where you don't want to watch a long form
Facts.
podcast or so because of that, naturally in any field, not just anime, you're not going to be as informed if you're fucking getting
Yeah.
your information from TikTok. 60 seconds is not a lot of time to relay information. Um,
You know,
so yeah,
facts. Like put it,
yeah,
bro. Like just for any, yeah, no fact. Like anything that could have business to publish, advertise, whatever. It's all completely beyond
e-
enhanced. It's just so many ways
exactly.
to advertise, spread it, and
Yeah,
get more attention, etc. The whole nine. You know, like so.
exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, TikTok. If you want to get information, I wouldn't go to TikTok. That's all I gotta say. Those are the same guys who want those odd anime chick game streams on Twitch, bro. Like just admit Naruto's great and move on. Dude, fucking streaming is it's a crazy business, you know. Like Twitch streamers and stuff. I mean, it's crazy business, man. Crazy. Not my thing, you know. I mean, I don't watch it really. The only guys I might watch once in a while is like Kai or someone like that that makes like W content. But the
Yeah,
streaming's not really my
like
thing.
Kai or like yeah, streaming. Like
Aiden
I'm sorry, but
Ross.
I can never relate to
No, 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 not
people
at all.
like spending hours of their day watching a show. I can't do
Nah,
that. Yeah.
can't do it. And a lot of it's just filler content. It's strange. Besides the goats, yeah, it's very bizarre. Um, Shout out to the good streamers though, which they exist. Kai and Speed and guys like that. When are you guys gonna do call-in shows? So our policy on that now is there has to be a certain amount of people that are willing to call in because if they don't, then at that point it's basically just a stream with us talking. So we basically said,
And the problem is we
yeah,
do call-in shows and then nobody wants to show up. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
so.
Yeah, we need at least like 5+ people to be willing to come on, whether they want to talk shit or just ask a question. You know, that's the policy now. Because if not, we're just wasting your guys' time. Biggest YouTube flops of all time. It's for like videos, maybe.
Set the program. Oh yeah.
Oh
Well, what
yeah,
is it about? Videos or content
yeah.
creator? Like, what do you mean?
Content creators, yeah. Seth, fucking EDP,
Yeah.
fucking yeah, fucking There's a guy that like killed somebody. I saw like on a video. Like he was a big
Loco
YouTuber.
for challenging me.
Yeah, I think it might have been that. Yes, it was like a video I was watching of like crazy YouTubers, top 10 craziest YouTubers, and someone like killed somebody or some shit. And he was a big YouTuber. I forgot his name,
Yeah.
but yeah, Seth the Pedo, EDP, that was a big one. Uh, who else comes to mind that just
Fun
fell the
fact
fuck?
about Seth, he was in a server debate in D1 recently. That shit was
Yeah,
hilarious.
if anyone has a recording, please. If anyone does, I want to listen to that.
Just crazy.
That's so random, but I'm sure D1 probably wrecked his ass though. I
Uh,
wouldn't be surprised. Seth isn't as good as people think. Now we know that, so surprised that he's even around fucking debating. D1 probably fucking flamed his shit, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, if anyone has that fucking recording, please DM me or fucking
yeah.
post it
Yeah, I
everywhere.
was in
Fuck
the
it.
server and I saw like the account, like him and D1 there, and there's a lot of people in it.
Oh yeah, yes.
Um,
When Seth's in
but
there,
but
people,
I didn't.
yeah.
But yeah, but for two reasons. One, I was busy, and then the second, I'm not going to affiliate in a server that has Seth in it. It's more likely not a good thing.
Nah, yeah. Fuck
So,
Seth. Fuck
um,
that pedo, bro.
but yeah,
If anyone has a recording, for sure. But yeah, fuck him. And fuck all his fucking ally, like all his people. You guys know who you are. If GTA is $100, were you guys gonna buy it? Yeah, I'm gonna buy it anyway. If it's $100, I'm gonna buy it still. It's that peak. It's gonna be that peak. I mean, it's very likely for them to take over a decade to complete this game and to be the size that they've implied and to have the functionality that they're implying. It's worth $100. It really is. It's apparently the most expensive game ever made in history of the gaming industry, which I'm not surprised. So yeah,
yeah.
I'm paying $100, man. It's amazing.
Oh, bro. Nah, speaking of games and month, bro, Nintendo's wilding. They're wilding. Fucking $80 for Mario Kart, bro. Like
80?
that's
Oh hell
crazy.
no! What
80
the
fucking
fuck?
dollars. And then their Switch 2 price is 485. Like
What
I don't know if
the?
that's I don't know if that is legit or not. Cause I've never really been into those Switch And I don't even know,
Yeah.
like I don't remember how much I paid when I got the first Switch. But either
Yeah.
way, they're going crazy with these prices. And then all their games, like any new game starting from now on is $80 for
Oh
Switch.
hell no. They don't even
That's
sell as it
insane.
is. That's fucking crazy. If
Yeah.
you ever want to be on
They're
PlayStation
going
and Xbox level, that's not what you should do. Like, dude,
uh,
the fuck? No, that's
no, it's
insane.
really worrisome because if people get, like if they're crackheads, instead of fighting against that, like and giving the negative publicity that it deserves, because the CEO has spoken about it,
Yeah,
and they keep just trying to like fucking bullshit and and make excuses like why it's acceptable or trust me, like you're paying for what you get, and I'm like that's bullshit, bro. Like no, you're just being greedy.
the
You know what I mean? But
fuck?
like
No,
I'm
that's
hoping
crazy.
everyone fights and does something because if they don't, guess what? PlayStation and Xbox are following their footsteps and be greedy just like them,
That's bullshit.
so that's
They're just
really
not gonna sell
concerning.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's gonna teach them. They just won't sell, honestly.
Yeah, they're
Like
on crack.
most people are not gonna fucking pay fucking $400+ for a fucking Switch. You got your goddamn mind. Like the fuck. At that point, they're just gonna get the PlayStation or the Xbox. The fuck? It's crazy. That's the bullshit. If Floyd didn't exist, who would have the best defense in boxing? Probably Pernell Whitaker, or it's a good question. Pernell Whitaker was very very slick. That's a good guy to watch if you want to learn some defense. Pernell Whitaker or maybe Sugar Ray Leonard in his prime. Very hard to hit. Um, yeah, those are the guys that come to mind. As far as newer generation, Canelo's defense is actually very, very thorough. But guess who he learned it from? Floyd, when he fought him and got schooled.
Yeah.
A lot of what he does now, he learned from Floyd. I'd probably say Pernell Whitaker comes to mind. He's probably the second best defense I've ever seen after Floyd. But yeah, I'd say Sugar Ray Leonard as well. Canelo. Oh, this is a dark horse. Lomachenko. Watch him fight. Not even his head movement, his footwork. It's some of the most unorthodox I've ever seen, but it works. Watch him fight. It's just a shame that he's older now, but in his prime, if he had a longer prime, that guy would have been something else, man. Lomachenko, another guy you want to check out, mostly for footwork. But yeah, Whitaker, Leonard, Canelo, Lomachenko. Those are some of the guys. Ali, I suppose. Ali is mostly head movement, though. Um, Best boxing game or UFC game? UFC, honestly, UFC 2, man, for its time was great. Um,
Yeah.
Boxing game, there hasn't really been that many. I have to think about that one.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
to mine, I can't really no for boxing, no.
yeah,
Like
there's not
it's
very
been
many.
UFC all the time, but
Yeah, UFC 2 to me, in my opinion, was the best of all the UFCs. Boxing game that's a tough one. I'd have to really think about that one. Um, as far as I, you know, far as the most iconic, probably Mike Tyson's Punch Out. That's the most iconic. People think of that. Some Fight Night games. Fight Night game, if you guys have played that one. Undisputed. Um, Overall, probably Mike Tyson's Punch Out is because of how iconic it is.
yeah,
First boxing game most people think of is the
it's
fucking
pretty fucking insane.
yeah, the fucking game. So Wii boxing is a fucking honorable mention. Fucking Wii. That
Yeah.
shit's fun. Not gonna lie. But yeah, UFC 2 is the best UFC game in my opinion. Um, they just got too like nuanced with the new ones where like you could fucking lose in like 5 seconds from leg kicks and shit. That's not even realistic. It's fucking stupid. Um,
Yeah.
Undisputed 3 is
It's
up
fucking
there.
really weird.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. Undisputed 3 is a good boxing game. Yeah, it's up there. But yeah, UFC 2 was just the right balance of fluidity. The career mode was fun. Um, Everything about it was pretty good for its time. So
Yeah. It's
they need
pretty
to make
fucking
more.
solid.
Yeah, they gotta make more fucking combat sports games. There's not that many.
Really, it's not like my only favorite one was fucking UFC, or it was fuck I can't remember the name exactly, but it was like this
Yeah,
street fighting fucking game. It was so good, bro. But like it was I
yeah.
can't remember what it is. I had to look it up, but it was good, bro. It was so good.
Yeah,
But
honestly,
yeah, like fighting and for it's just not. Yeah,
the best game, the funnest, I mean, it's not real in the real world. WWE is fucking fake. But the WWE games are actually pretty fucking fun. It's not real, like the
yeah.
sport, but the games are fucking fun. You could do like fucking matches and build custom people and shit and fucking fight Triple H and shit. It's pretty fucking fun. I mean, that's probably the best combat. I mean, I won't call it combat sport. It's fucking scripted, but it's fun. Yeah. If you could take any ability in the Marvel universe, what would you pick? I mean, the easy choice would be omnipotence, but that's a stupid answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd probably
Yeah,
fucking say,
yeah.
yeah, if it's like the heroes that we know of, that's a tough one.
Yeah, like the define the scaling. Maybe like quantify it a little bit further. Like, is it street level?
Yeah.
Is it like what you mean? Like, there's different levels. You got people
Yeah.
like Spider Man, Daredevil, Moon Knight. Then you got people that like fucking like Hulk, Thing, Thor. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Honestly, a street level guy I fuck with, if you want to argue street level is Daredevil, like, the fucking
Yeah,
hearing.
he's a badass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could tell you could tell if you're fucking lying and shit. Like, I fuck with his
Yeah.
abilities. They're very useful in like everyday life. Um, that one scene in Daredevil when
Yep.
he fucking like finds the bullet. I think what he fucking does is like he rolls something down the street and finds the bullet that killed the White Dragon or whatever the fuck his name was, the White
Yeah,
Tiger.
his detective skills with hearing is
Fucking peak, man.
insane.
Yeah,
Insane. To
that was
like to
fire.
know exactly where it went, you know what I
Yeah,
mean, based upon his senses alone by touch and hearing, that's just crazy, dude.
that's fucking crazy. He was in that fucking like he was in that
He
fucking
found the
sewer.
serial killer in a night.
That's fucking
You know what I
crazy.
mean? Like he told that one dude, he's like, bro, like the cops and they're all been investigating whatever, blah blah. And they haven't gotten nowhere. Me, I investigated one night and I find him. You know what I mean?
That's so crazy. Yeah, that was peak. That was peak.
Like
Anything un
Daredevil low key is like even though he's a lawyer, he's a underrated detective in
Oh
Marvel.
no, yeah, he's
Underrated.
definitely underrated. He showcases himself here, especially this season.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking
Not
peak.
Batman level, but he's pretty fucking legit.
Yeah, yeah, definitely not Batman level. He
Um,
lacks the intellect for that.
uh,
But yeah, he's pretty legit though. One of the better street level guys in Marvel for sure. Detective, as far as detective work is concerned. So, anything
yeah.
under Thor? Anything under Thor?
Spider-Man. What the fuck?
Spider-Man's, yeah, his abilities are pretty sick. Yeah, you could,
Badass. I love it.
yeah, pretty fucking sick. You can detect fucking danger and shit with Spidey sense.
Either that
Uh,
or Iron Man. But the only difference is I'm gonna at least learn martial arts just in case.
oh yeah, yeah, fucking yeah, Iron
Yeah,
Man.
Iron Man, Spider Man, Iron Fist is another good one where that motherfucker's a badass, but could also utilize chi and fucking do like Hulk feats and shit.
Yeah,
Healing.
healing. That's pretty fucking sick. Yeah, Daredevil would be up there for me just because of his peak fucking abilities in everyday life.
Yeah,
Spider-Man, of course. So maybe someone with great healing abilities, like fucking Deadpool or
Wolverine,
something.
Deadpool. Yeah,
Wolverine, yeah, because he has
I'd
the.
say Wolverine though, because I don't want to have an ugly ass face. But
Oh, fuck that. You'll never get bitches. Yeah, fuck
yeah,
that. No riz.
yeah.
Yeah, like he has charisma, but if they see his
But like
face, they're not.
Deadpool only gets bitches because he has money, and then like he has like that riz, like that
That
comedy
riz.
riz.
Yeah. Wolverine is just built different. Like,
Yeah.
he's jacked and shit, gets bitches
Yeah,
without even
like
trying.
insane durability because he had adamantium skeleton, healing
Adamantium
regen,
skeleton.
even if it gets bypassed.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Regen, crazy regen. Yeah, Wolverine's a good pick. Deathstroke. I mean, that's DC, but yeah.
if
Uh,
we're talking DC, obviously fucking Batman. The fuck,
Batman, dude. This
the
intellect
sky's
alone.
the limit. You could do whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
like fuck
Bat.
Deathstroke, Batman. What the fuck?
Yeah, he fucks Deathstroke up.
There's not one thing to do. And if
Yeah,
you have no
facts.
qualms with killing people, yeah, good luck.
Batman laughs, basically. Yeah.
Yeah,
Batman versus Cure Case. So Batman, here's a problem. He'd be aware that his, real identity, who he really is a very, I guess, illuminated upon figure in the world.
yeah,
So someone like Light Yagami is fucking killing criminals. He would deduce that, whoever Cure is able to figure out, who is someone that could be a threat to him. So Batman would have to, he'd have to work in the shadows. It maybe work like L did and not, give away his identity and not let Kira know that he's in Japan rather. Because then Kira would try to figure out who Batman is. He might be like, you know what? I'll just kill every billionaire on this fucking website and eventually hit Bruce
Yeah.
Wayne's name. So I think what he would do is I think Batman would solve it, and I think he would just work in the shadows and find Kira, and find Light
Yeah.
more necessarily.
Yeah,
And then he just
there's that, and then not only that, like it's even worse for Kira if Batman does like his countermeasures and contingencies because he has that in
yeah,
place to like to make sure people can't deduce his identity.
his
You
identity,
know what I
yeah.
mean? And so on, and to make people be second guessing and to avoid it being so simple. You know what I mean? And so on and so
Exactly.
forth.
Yeah.
So there's that too. Like if he's incorporating like those strategies and contingencies, then yeah, like there's no way he's figuring out. If the most smartest motherfuckers in DC can't even figure it out, like how do you expect
Yeah.
him to figure it out? You
Fucking
know?
no one figured it out.
Um,
He would even allow. He
yeah.
probably would even let Kira know he's there. He'd be
Yeah.
like,
Now,
we
if he
we don't
doesn't
know.
incorporate those countermeasures, then I absolutely agree with Jay. Like,
Yeah.
so that then he would have to go how Jay basically explained and described it. You know?
Yeah. You have to be
Because
very
that's all you got
just.
to do. Like it's like, bro, all right, this guy got gadgets and shit. You know, he
Yeah.
has to have money. You know what I mean? Like to either kill every like wealthy person, you know, and there you go. You know, problem solved. And even if like, and the reason why it's a rational thing to conclude is because even if he's not the one with the money, if you kill anyone that has the money, then he won't have the resources. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's still
It-
like beneficial to even do that strategy. You know?
yeah. He would just kill like every military-aged billionaire, and then fucking eventually
Yeah.
hit Bruce Wayne. But yeah, I think Batman would be like, I can't even. He can't have an inkling that I'm in Japan, that I'm on his tail, and I don't think that'd be hard for him to do. He has way.
Batman could always operate like without showing that he's wealthy too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He could like, you know, instead of using his Batmobile or whatever, or he could either go into another suit or he could just operate as he does this all the time. He like gets another like face, like he changes his face and acts like an undercover like a civilian, you know?
Yeah,
And he
exactly.
could do shit
Batman
like
is so
that. But
thorough, like, yeah, he'd catch
yeah,
light before he'd probably even fucking
he has many
realizes.
ways, dude.
Yeah, Batman more times than not would solve the killer case. He's way
Yeah,
beyond L, who almost solved it. L barely fucking lost, you know.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, Batman would solve it more times than not. It's just that simple. Yeah, a lot of WWE games were pretty damn good. Yeah, those were fun, man. They were fun for sure. Um, I don't watch WWE, but the games are fucking fun though. But yeah, WWE is cool though. I don't really watch. I watched it a lot growing up though. A lot growing up for sure. But once I knew it was fake, I was like, nah. But I know a lot of people fuck with it. So it's huge right now. Speaking of WWE, it's huge right now because WWE is now on Netflix, right? Raw and all that shit. It's on Netflix,
Oh,
and
okay. Yeah.
speaking of that, apparently this is a rumor that now that the UFC's deal with ESPN has ended, they might shift to Netflix, and all the pay-per-views that we're familiar with would just be on Netflix, and there wouldn't be a pay-per-view wall, which would be fucking crazy if that actually happens. That would be the death of the pay-per-view model, and everyone that has a Netflix subscription would have access to these to UFC events, which would be monumental to the sport. And honestly, I think it would benefit the UFC. I think it would grow even greater heights. Netflix has 100 million plus subscribers, if I'm not mistaken, like fuck tons of
Yeah.
subscribers. Imagine the numbers that these fucking UFC events would get. Probably the tens of
That'd
millions
be
of people
insane.
watching.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
insane, dude.
No pay-per-view wall. That's fucking crazy. That's fucking man. I mean, the UFC might be the biggest sport in the fucking world. Dead ass.
Yeah.
Um, that would be pretty great. Hopefully Dana White says he's down. He's down and makes it happen. But the ESPN deal is now over, and now they want to sign with someone else, some other media company, or so hopefully it's not ESPN. ESPN was kind of a mess. The pay-per-view fucking prices, the fact that you needed a subscription and then pay for the fucking pay-per-view, and then the technical issues after buying the pay-per-view that would always happen. The fucking it would freeze and shit, and that's bullshit. So ESPN should not be signed with again, in my opinion. It should be
Yeah.
Netflix or something. Hopefully Netflix. That'd be amazing. No more pay-per-view bullshit. No more paying for fucking pay-per-views. $90 a fucking pay-per-view. That's crazy. So
Facts.
that's bullshit, man.
And
Fuck.
not only that, like again, like it goes back to the one thing we were talking about way before, 2025, man. Like things are just more advantageous and beneficial. So
Yeah.
that's a really good move to go, especially on a big platform like Netflix.
exactly. I think if the cure case was real in the United States, they wouldn't stop it. Oh, in the real world? So in the real world, let's say people start randomly fucking dying. People start randomly dying. Then we have law
Scientists will
enforcement.
start investigating. I'll say that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'd have law enforcement. The FBI would probably get involved quite quickly due to the bizarre nature of these
Uh-huh.
deaths.
Yep.
Um, the FBI, here's the thing. If the guy is as smart as Kira, as Light Yagami is like a prodigal intellect in the real world at least. He would be able to look up all kind of like he did in the fucking in the anime. He looked up the FBI like individuals and started killing them
Yeah.
off and stuff like that. That would be a fucking problem. That would be a fucking problem. The FBI would have to first of all they have to figure out that some magical fucking book is the reason people are dying. That's a that's going to
And
be
they're not
tough
gonna.
to.
They're not going to. Yeah, they're
They're not
not
even going to believe
believing.
that. That's the problem.
That's the
And
last thing they ever. They're gonna try to figure out some scientific explanation.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, or
some like
so,
poison or some bullshit anthrax or
yeah,
some bullshit
or
killing people,
disease,
some
or yeah.
disease or some lab created fucking illness. It's gonna be hard to come to that conclusion. Um, Kira would have a field day for a long fucking time until
A good amount of time.
yeah,
Yep.
a good amount of time until the FBI is like, you know what? It has to be fucking magic. How the fuck is this happening, man? You know?
Or they'll just think it's something to do like a supernatural type of thing, maybe like something to do
Yeah,
with God and that whole thing.
God or
Like that'll be the last thing they go to. They'll be like, okay, maybe this is like just beyond our comprehension, and you know, it's something
yeah,
like that, right?
yeah. It'd be a fucking field
Or
day.
think it's alien related, an alien type of power or whatever, like so meaning
Yeah.
therefore like it's just we just are incapable of understanding it.
You're incapable, and
So
at that point, I think negotiation would be the best way. Kind of like they attempted in Death Note, but I think they would, maybe nationally televise the FBI talking and maybe hoping that Kira's
yeah.
watching. Just be like, whoever you are, we'll give you money, whatever the fuck you want, just tell us who you are, and we could figure something out. We're at your mercy, basically. We're fucked. We don't know who the fuck you are, how you're doing this, but we'll do whatever you want. I think that's what it's going to
I
come
don't
down
think
to.
I don't think they'd be able to solve it. I really don't
No,
think
I
so,
don't.
man.
I don't
I
think they
don't.
would
Yeah,
either. I think it'd be a fucking shit show because in Death Note,
yeah.
it's the perfect scenario. Light Yagami's dad is the head of the Japanese police force. Fucking L meets his dad. Then he puts the pieces together. That wouldn't be the case in the real world. It'd be some fucking random ass person in some fucking random ass state somewhere in the United States killing people with a fucking magical book.
Yeah,
It's
like
like,
how
dude,
do you figure that out?
how the fuck? Like, how the fuck, man? There'd probably be martial law. Martial law would be
Yeah.
implemented. They'd be like, we're gonna look at every house
Oh,
until we
fact.
find it, and even then they'll never find it. So
Yeah.
honestly, Kira might win. He might become the Light Yagami's goal is to become the Lord of the New World or whatever, like the fucking God of the New World or some bullshit. And he actually fucking accomplish it. He'll kill off Donald Trump and fucking kill
Bro,
off
think of it this
everybody.
way: if we can't even figure out how to solve one of the biggest elements of crime and problems, aka the dark web,
Facts.
you think they're solving a fucking magical book? Come on,
Fuck no.
you know?
Fuck no. Especially if someone as smart as Light Yagami. Fuck no.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not. They're not. I think he'd win. Honestly, he'd end up winning. Unfortunately, I think JD Vance will win in 2028. I think there's a very good chance JD Vance would win. The question is who will run against him on the Democrat side. Fucking Kamala again? I doubt it. I doubt it. They'll have to find a new candidate that's like promising for the Democratic Party. I think as of now, he has a very good chance of winning in 2028. Yeah, very, very good chance. He has a good reputation. He carries himself well, in most interactions that are public. He has a very good
The-
chance. Very, very good chance of winning. Um, the Republican Party, it's in a positive light for most Americans, I would say, right now. So, for the most part, they're not fucking perfect, but yeah. Um, but yeah, the carrot case in real life is it's a death trap, man. It's a death trap. Um, but yeah, folks, any questions? Feel free. Any questions? That's a good question, by the way. The carrot case in the real world. That's a shit show, man. It's a shit show. Let's see if any other questions I've seen here. EDP definitely. Yeah, EDP was some mouse, man. But yeah, folks, any questions at all, feel free. Probably go a few more minutes here, or maybe we'll do the 1 minute, $1 per minute thing where we just keep going as long as there's super chats coming in. What is your sleeping routine? Now with my IRL career, I go to pretty early, get up pretty early. Try to at least get 6+ hours, at least 6+ hours of sleep. Sleep is extremely pivotal. Most of your healing, your muscle growth, your development is done while you're sleeping, actually.
Yeah.
So sleep is fucking pivotal, man. One of the most pivotal parts of human existence. I would say 6+ hours, have a consistent sleep schedule to have a healthy circadian rhythm, which is basically like your biological clock when you get up, when you go to sleep, when you do, everything. So right now it's 6+ hours as consistently as I can make that. It's basically my sleep routine. In bed by usually by 9ish, possibly when I'm working and stuff. So that's usually the case. The ideal is 7 to 8 hours, but these days it's tough. The busyness is just there, so best you can. Yeah, folks, any questions? Any questions at all here?
Is there? Is there?
Even
What's
real
it
life
called?
questions. Yes,
Fucking.
sir.
Trying to think. What was that? Uh, I was what I was gonna bring up is fucking
Yeah.
when Invincible for the next season release. That's next
Oh,
year, right? 20
yeah.
twenty twenty six.
I think Robert Kirkman, the creator, he said they're gonna try to drop it like in a consistent fashion. So I'm assuming February of 2026, just like this
You
year.
want to
And
know what's
see,
like? Want to know what's concerning with that though? I actually
yeah,
read like I went through the manga pretty. I didn't like read everything. I was just like skimming through mainly because I was out of
yeah.
curiosity. It's fucking long, dude. There's a
It is
lot of
long.
arcs.
Yeah.
There is a lot of arcs, man. So like, shit, they're gonna be doing Invincible for a good fucking bit. You know what I
I
mean?
think
But
Robert Kirkman said what he wants is like 11 plus seasons. That's what he said. I mean, it's a very ambitious
uh,
goal.
they're probably gonna be
Um,
removing a lot of shit then, because
yeah,
and just
they
sticking to
definitely
the
already.
main shit. Yeah,
Yeah, they're gonna stick to the main shit. They added their own shit that isn't in the comic, like fucking Dark Blood coming back at the end of season 3 and shit. That's not even. He's only seen like fucking twice in the entire comic, but now he's back with
yeah,
some shit. So there's some shit that they're changing, some shit that's consistent. And I fuck with that. It leaves people that have read the comic in suspense as well. Um, yeah, I think there's Invincible has so much promise. The animated show is fucking amazing. Um, there's so many villains to introduce that are not even here yet that are fucking like ore farmers and shit. So, um, yeah, I think with the success, they'll be on track for a while at least.
yeah,
11 seasons is a fucking ton, man. That's a fuck ton.
yeah. No, it's a good amount.
Yeah, that's a lot of
Honestly, I
fucking
fuck with it, but
seasons.
no, yeah, but no, like, because I was going through the manga and that fucking lengthy, man. It's a lot,
It's a
and,
lot of
and it's
shit.
all the arcs are fucking incredible too. Like, it's not a bad
Oh
thing,
yeah,
but I'm just saying, like, it's gonna take a bit, and it's
yeah,
a little, I guess, a little bit disappointing because all like the really good shit, like, it's gonna take a bit to get there. But
yeah. And I've kind of spoiled myself on a lot of it too. I know a lot of the major plot points that are not even in the animated show, and yeah, it's fucking crazy.
yeah,
I mean, the shit that happens, it's insane.
all I will say though, Battle Beast, God, he's a dog.
Oh my God,
That guy.
that guy is like fucking. No, that guy's
In
he is.
theory, honestly, I think he is the strongest motherfucker.
Yeah, you could
Like,
argue if you know all that happens, you could argue he is the strongest if he's like at his best in his prime.
yeah, that
Yeah,
mother, if we're saying in character, no, because he's an idiot.
yeah, he is an idiot.
But
He's pride.
yeah,
Yeah,
but if we're saying like if he's always bloodlusted, bro, yeah, this guy's limit because, bro, he like all I'll say without spoiling things, he performs better than Thrag against a certain alien species,
yeah.
and he's perfectly fine while Thrag got fucked up.
You got thrashed.
And
Yeah.
like so, like again, like his fighting capability, like just everything, like he's just way better.
He's a
You
fucking
know?
monster. I mean, this dude like he
Yeah,
nerfs himself on purpose to make it interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
It's fucking crazy, man. He's insane.
Like that one line was hilarious where he's like, "Oh, I fought you before. Like, didn't I like deal with you effortlessly and punch you or some shit?" And he's like, "Nah, bitch." He's like, "I let that happen. Other people were fighting you, so I let them have their thing. Now it's just
Yeah.
me and you. You're gonna learn."
Literally. The shit he
Like,
does is so crazy, even against the strongest people. Like he doesn't give a fuck, man. He's like, I want to make this interesting, so I'm a fucking,
literally,
I'm gonna
bro.
do this to myself. Like, what the fuck? Nah, that's crazy. That guy's built different. He's built different, man. And Mark's progression without spoiling is so crazy too. Just from beginning to end in the comic, it's so
Oh yeah, Mark.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah, he's the main MC. You know, it makes sense.
Yeah, that dude is just, he goes from getting fucked up by his dad to becoming him eventually. It's just fucking crazy.
Yep,
Crazy. I mean, dude's built different. I mean, even against Conquest now in the animated show, this dude's grown a lot in power.
literally.
Yeah. Like Conquest was holding back and he had help from Eve and shit, but he's grown a lot from the day where he got his ass whooped by his dad. I mean, yeah, he's grown a lot. Um, yeah, it's definitely a fire ass comic. Fire. So peak media. But yeah, folks, we'll go about 5 more minutes here. Unless again super chats come in every dollar's a minute. Basically, that's what we do at the end. Any final questions though? Uh, any questions you may have. But yeah, fucking Invincible was peak. Definitely peak.
It's really good.
Yeah, the newest season was the best. Every season's gotten better, essentially. Every season's gotten
Facts.
better. This one was fucking amazing. I mean, everything was spectacular. The fucking variants, that was so peak. The fucking Mark variants that came from different universes, that was peak. Fucking Conquest. I mean, man, it doesn't get much better. Honestly, doesn't. Let's see if there's any questions I fucking missed. Fucking Byakugan versus Sage mode. I guess it's the same thing as Sharingan. It's just more well-rounded.
Yeah. Mhm.
Uh, let's see here. Any questions I missed here? Killer B versus A. I'm taking B. Killer B versus A.
Just stated Raikage's over.
Yeah,
Like several
V2.
times, like data
Yeah.
books.
Even Killer
It
B
says
says it
like the
basically.
Raikage is the strong. Yeah, it says the
Yeah.
Raikage is the strongest shinobi. Like the data books, it says that all the time. It's similar to the Hokage.
Yeah.
And then Killer B admits inferiority like of V2A. Like
He
you know,
always
like
says like,
A
"Oh, no
literally.
one's faster now." Yeah, like he's faster than everyone
Yeah,
every
like he
time.
literally
Yeah.
says the only motherfucker that ever dodged me or dealt with me was Minato, and he's dead. He's no longer here. Like that
Exactly.
would obviously include A. So A in his
Yeah.
base, V1, V2, and even Eight Tails would obviously be inferior because otherwise he'd say B and Minato. You know what I mean? Like so,
Exactly.
like
Yeah. Exactly.
so
Basically it's
yeah,
very implied.
yeah.
Yeah.
The third Raikage, who's even less faster than A. You could argue he's more durable than A, but way less faster than him was bodying the Eight Tails, going blow for
Facts.
blow. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Literally
like
like.
then you have A who's like way faster, you know what I mean? Like so meaning more AP, etc. can't be touched. Like he's gonna fucking dog walk the Eight Tails, you know?
Oh, facts.
Now
Yeah.
you could make the arguments that you know like oh yeah because they're both like as one that the Jujutsu is you know more strong whatever blah.
Stronger.
But in
Yeah.
all honesty, from my memory, it's kind of vague on how all that operates. All you could really argue, like when I guess when they say they're stronger, it's more because of like them having the intelligence, right? It's not just the
Right.
beast.
Not
It's
primal.
now it's
Yeah.
the intelligence of the ninja and the beast working together, etc. So yeah, therefore you would be stronger as a whole. But I
Yeah.
don't think you're inherently like your stats double or some shit,
Right.
or
Yeah.
like it's like I don't think there's really anything to indicate that, you know.
Yeah.
That's kind of the problem. Like unless like their chakras are combining, then you could make that argument. But with Naruto, that wasn't the case. It was always separate chakra entities. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They never
Like
really mixed.
Naruto's
Yeah.
chakra was his own, and the Nine Tails was another. It was two different chakra networks. And if Naruto tapped into the Nine Tails chakra to the Nine Tails, then he would get the forms that he has. Killer Bee
Right.
does the same exact shit. You know what I mean? So I don't think you can make the argument that their chakras are fusing either. So meaning therefore, like I don't, you know, I just it's kind of hard to advocate that like you know when you have a perfect Jinchuriki transformation, like you're even beyond, you know, and no matter what, even with all the feats and things that he has, he, he doesn't really have that much. You know, like this. There's nothing to indicate that he's above and beyond the right Kage. That's all I'm getting at. You know,
Right, yeah, he
like
even
bro, like
admits he's not. I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Like if Killer B, if Kisame could deal with, even though it wasn't the full Eight Tails, but if Kisame could deal with him, imagine what V2A would do. You know, like
exactly.
if V2A goes into like his V2 right off the bat, like you could even argue he blitzes B before he transforms. You know,
Yeah,
like
very good argument. He wouldn't even be able to
so.
transform in time and just get blitzed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
even if he was transformed or he could transform in time, if you guys think about it, that's even worse for B because he's a bigger object, easier to hit and move around now. Like
Yeah,
it's like at that point, like he's kind of cooked. Like Raikai's just gonna be teleporting everywhere and just cutting every. Like bro, we saw what Taka Sasuke's Shidori spear did to the Eight Tails to B, cutting his tentacles easily, casually. You know what I mean?
casually.
Like imagine like fucking if A like is with a
V2.
lightning cloak, remind you. Like
Yeah.
he's going through that motherfucker
Oh,
with
you
like
gotta
his
chop him
chop
down.
or
Yeah.
like if Taka Sasuke wasn't even at full power, right? Like he wasn't he like still recovering? You
Yeah,
know
he
what I
was
mean?
recovering from this
So,
Tachi fight.
so
Yeah.
bro, yeah, if his goddamn lightning thing could do that, come on. What do
Oh
you think
yeah.
V2A do? You know, he's
Rikage would
he's
just
literally lightning all over his body.
yeah. Rikage would chop him down like a fucking tree, basically.
He could pull an invincible and like spear right through his chest, and
Oh,
make a hole
facts.
or some shit.
Some invincible
Like,
shit. Dead ass is fucking
uh,
like when Nolan fucking speared fucking Immortal or some shit. Just fucking kill him. That's
like, bro,
crazy.
like when A1V2 like Killer Bee like is sweating and he's like, oh my god, he really is gonna kill Naruto, and we know Killer Bee wanted to protect Naruto. You know what I mean? Like he didn't want Naruto to die, so if he was capable of dealing with V2A, he would have just went to full transformation and be like, nah, bitch, you're gonna stop your shit, and guess what? A would have just conceded, right? He can't beat
Yeah.
that power. You know what I mean? Again, like A would have been dealt with, but B is not that strong. Like, and B even uses his full eight tails transformation. He does it to his hand, and that was able to be equal to V1A. But
Exactly.
when A goes to V2, he literally can't do it. He's shitting his pants, sweating, and he's like, damn, he's really gonna kill Naruto. And he couldn't do anything at that point. He couldn't intervene, you know?
Yeah.
So like
Exactly.
it's there's a lot of evidence to advocate that Raikage is like I know there's been like I've been hearing about it and like some like whether if it's new content creators or maybe I don't know. Either way, I've been hearing about it on Discord and all around that like people been trying to advocate for B to be above A, but that's just stupid. Like I
There's
don't
yeah, there's not much to even use to argue that. It's like to the
yeah,
contrary. It's like uh
yeah. Like
um
the best thing remotely B could even do is to try to like do a kamikaze and Biju bomb himself. You know what I mean? To try to take out A. But that's
yeah.
like a Datara. Even if that does kill Raikage and he couldn't take a Biju bomb, they both die then.
Yeah, it's just a
You know what
no
I mean? Like
contest. Fucking nobody wins
yeah,
at that point.
so at that point nobody fucking wins. Um that's just kind of what you're dealing with. And and technically you could just argue A could just teleport, right? And just
Yeah,
fucking move
outrun
fast
that
enough and
shit.
he could just get out of the blast. Yeah,
Yeah.
he could get out of the blast radius. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you're not gonna convince me that Minato or A or even Naruto, like with their physical speed, that they can't outrun a Biju bomb, you know?
Yeah, the blast isn't that
So
fast. I mean, come on.
yeah. The
Not
way
light
like
speed.
yeah,
Come on.
yeah, no, yeah. So
Even that might not
so
work.
I don't even think it would like I think he could just outrun the blast radius. I mean, he's
Yeah,
definitely not
facts.
getting hit directly by it, right?
No,
So like
facts.
if even if B like shoots the ground and everything starts blowing up, I do think he could outrun it too. But even if he couldn't, they both die. That's
Yeah,
stupid,
they would
you
just
know?
die anyway. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, folks, we've gone almost 3 hours. WS stream's gonna be back. Consistency
Yeah.
should return. I would say soon, from what where I'm at right now, with Saturdays being,
Yes, sir.
the stream day, which is what you guys seem to like the most anyway. Content, trying to be more consistent with that. All that will play out once make some moves in the IRL career, which should happen soon. But we hope you guys enjoyed. Again, peak
Yep.
media year. Hope you guys are enjoying it as well. And hopefully we have Shinobi next. We have the entire gang in the next one. We'll see. But we appreciate you guys coming out. And we'll see you next time,
Appreciate it.
folks.
Appreciate it.
Stay classy, y'all. Peace.
Peace.